Welcome, everyone, to Ken White Stadium in Waleska, Georgia, where today the Rams take on the number 3 Reinhardt Eagles here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Hello, everybody. Bailey Engel, Nick Ratliff. Glad to have you with us once again on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Nick, Rams taking on maybe the best team they've faced all year, and they have a ton to play for today.
They do. Not only are we going for our 6th win in a row, the winner of this game will be guaranteed a share of the Appalachian Division title. If we win this week and next week, then we win the division outright.
And it's a very tough team they're facing off before they have to worry about those titles, Nick. Reinhardt undefeated on the year, and Bluefield does not have a great history against them. Last year they came down here to Waleska, Georgia, and they're absolutely walloped, 64-3.
Right. Reinhardt is one of the best teams in the country, and that is because they have 13 different people that can run the football, starting with Montrelius Mosley, who has absolutely dominated this season. And I think one of the keys is they have fresh legs at almost every down.
Well, Bluefield still has that three-pronged running attack with Alex Martin as well as Malik Brown and Rashawn Butler, who absolutely went off in the 17-7 win against Union last week. The freshman from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, had 130 yards, including a 61-yard touchdown run in the rain against the Union Bulldogs. But this is a very talented team, Nick, that they're facing off against in Reinhardt today, coming off a huge win against Pikeville last week. And they've also just beaten the teams that Bluefield has snuck by to smithereens, but really, we talked about last year, 64-3. This has been a completely different year in so many ways for Bluefield, Nick. Bluefield has a lot more to play for today, and it just kind of seems like they've been able to handle adversity very well.
They have. Dewey Lusk coming in his first season has created a great buzz around this football team. And I think in years prior, they've come into games like this, and they're like, hey, you know, Reinhardt's walloped people, like you said. This year, we have just a sense of confidence coming off 5 straight wins, and I think that playing for a championship has really rejuvenated this team and this program.
Well, there is some unfortunate news due to the relapse in school rules. 3 players will be out today, Nick, and that's going to be kind of tough because they are very, very good players. Devin Jackson, as well as Quante Hines, the starting center for Bluefield, and Antonio Strickland, all of them suspended today, and that's something that Bluefield's going to need to step up and really make up for the loss of 3 of their more talented players.
Absolutely. Devin Jackson is one of our staples on this defense, but the thing that I'm worried about is Andrew McPhee playing center. Sometimes people think that linemen are interchangeable. Your center is not interchangeable. That's snap, starts the entire play. That'll be something to watch this afternoon.
Well, Destin McMillan will jump into that guard spot where Andrew McPhee, the upperclassman out of Christiansburg, Virginia, usually is on an offensive line that is anchored most of the success for Bluefield so far this year. And they're also playing in a very hostile environment, not a orthodox stadium, to say the least, here in Waleska, Georgia. We just have bleachers on the one side near the press box. On the far sideline where Bluefield is actually anchored, there's just pine trees and a hill going up right behind them. So a one-sided stadium, but a lot of Reinhardt fans here today. Senior day for the Eagles. So for Bluefield, they're playing not only for a share of the Appalachian Division title, but they're playing against a lot of emotions that Reinhardt probably has coming into today.
Right, and thankfully we've been in this situation quite a few times this year, including at home, and we had around 3,000 people. We've gone into Southeastern. They had a lot of people. Point had that ginormous band and a couple thousand people. So I think that's something that luckily this young Bluefield team has had a little bit of experience with this year. And if we're going to make a playoff run, this is the type of atmosphere we're going to have to play in.
Well, Bluefield and Reinhardt, both in the NAIA and the Mid-South Appalachian Division, both of them relatively new programs. Reinhardt started just a year after Bluefield reinstituted their program in 2013. Bluefield started in 2012, having their best season since the resurrection of the program. Bluefield won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half. Reinhardt looks like they will receive the ball to start out this game. So Tanner Griffith, the freshman kicker, the Iron Toe as they called him in the walkthroughs yesterday in Chattanooga, Tennessee, is about ready to boot this one away. But Reinhardt, we just looked at him when we were walking around, Nick. They're a team with a ton of size, so that is also something they have to their advantage against the Rams here today.
They are a large football team, and what that means typically is that they're going to be physical. So we're going to have to see, once again, we've harped on it all year, is how this young Bluefield team can handle some older players that are maybe a little more mature physically and a lot more physical.
Also, another question mark for Bluefield on the defense today. Larry Jefferson, we saw him walk out of the tunnel. He has his ankle iced up. He has missed the past few games for the Rams. A guy that has played D1 football against a Reinhardt team that does have D1 talent. One of their best defensive players, Aaron Brown, actually a transfer from Cincinnati. So Reinhardt, a team that has kind of cornered that D1 transfer market here in Georgia, just about an hour outside of Atlanta. Larry Jefferson, really the only D1 guy that Bluefield has. But luckily for the Rams, he does have a chance to get back into the defense today.
Right, and if Larry Jefferson is available to play, that is going to be a pivotal role in this defense with the offense that Reinhardt runs. He's going to need to get a lot of pressure off of the edge and be able to stop the run.
Well, Reinhardt coming out of a big tunnel that they have made out of an eagle's head. Actually pretty cool there on the right side of the field near where their weight room is. They are dressed sort of like West Virginia. They have the gray jerseys with those dark blue numbers trimmed in yellow. Bluefield going with the all-white jerseys today and the blue helmets with the Ram on one side and the respective number on the right side of the helmet with the red face mask. But Reinhardt, head coached by James Miller, actually a Virginia Tech graduate, played offensive line in his first year as the head coach in the program here down in Waleska, Georgia. Played with Brian Randall and those teams in the early 2000s. That had some success under Coach Frank Beamer, but he's a team that is really he has built a team that has really favored that system of having so many running backs, and you don't see star quarterbacks play here at Reinhardt. You don't see star wide receivers either, but you're going to see so many running backs get touches today, and that just keeps them fresh, and it makes it even tougher for Bluefield to make some sort of stand. So now Tanner Griffith lining up at the 35-yard line, back to receive this kick return, Jalen Ashby and Seth Nichols. Now Griffith ready to go, boots away a high end-over-end kick, received at the 20, and he'll cut it out right side, picks up a block at the 30, now dances up to the 35, runs across the 40, and tackled at the 42-yard line on the return that time. It was Otis Odom, the freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a decent return, and 1st and 10 coming up for Reinhardt at the 42-yard line. So this is the first time we're going to see Dylan Wiggins here today, the quarterback. Pretty efficient, 4 TDs and no interceptions. The sophomore from Ranburne, Alabama, doesn't throw the ball a lot, but he is wearing number 11 as he approaches under center. Wide receiver on the near side, all the way out, pressured by Antonio Dawkins at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10, a handoff straight up the middle, and he will just clunk up to the 45-yard line, a gain of 3.
And Bailey, the key for Bluefield's defense today is to keep them in 2nd and 3rd and long. This is an offense that is not designed to gain 5 to 6, 7 yards of play. They're designed to gain 3 or 4.
Well, Bluefield lining up with Terrence Hall right over the center. Xavier Carter will be the center hiking the ball today. Drop the snap. Wiggins dove for it. It's out, but looks like he just fell right down on it on 2nd and 8. Rushing off the edge that time for Bluefield. Michael Everett just dove on it, so a loss of 5. Now it's going to be 3rd and 13 from their own 44-yard line. There has been some center problems for Reinhardt. Xavier Carter brought in as now Reinhardt lines up in the gun. Wiggins gets the snap, rolls out left on 3rd and 13, flares a pass, and it's caught and dropped. Tyrese Henry got a hand in there after Rohan Andrews looked like he could have just danced into the end zone, but the safety swiped his hand with his white glove, got a hand in there, and it's an early 3 and out for Reinhardt.
And Bailey, that's something that is, he got burned a little bit. He got beat, but he came in, made a great effort play at the end, and that's something that Bluefield needed, a quick start here in the 1st quarter.
Little mesh play. Charles Black back to receive the punt from Nick Marquez from his own 39-yard line. 4th and 13, a snap straight to Marquez, gets off a high spiraling punt. Black already calls for the fair catch and has an awkward catch back at the 15-yard line. Didn't catch it like a basket, caught it like he was catching a fade pass. But instead, Bluefield's going to start out at the 16-yard line, 1st and 10 for Kaysen Witt and company. This is a defense that is led by some pretty talented running backs, Nick. And for Reinhardt, that's going to be a test for them today to see how they'll do against those 3 talented running backs, that staple that Bluefield has thrown out there so far this year.
Right, it's going to be fun to see how we can figure out which running back is hot in which situation and see how Dewey Lusk wants to play it.
1st and 10 from the 18. Witt in the gun with Malik Brown on his left. Snap, play action, flare over the middle, and automatically smacked down into the ground. And now it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 18.
Jason Witt pass intended for number 13.
He was looking for Johnny Myers on a little slant pass, and Xavier Dyer jumped up and got a hand on it. Now 2nd and 10 from the 18. A snap and a handoff to Malik Brown, gobbled up by the defensive line for Reinhardt. No gain on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 10.
Going back to Dyer, he just made a great play on that read option. He made Kason Witt make the choice before he made his choice. So either way, Kason Witt was in trouble.
Javier Dyer once again on the tackle. It's actually a loss of 2. 3rd and 12 at the 16 as Bluefield lines up in the gun once again. 3 receivers bunched out on the near sideline. Snap, Witt looks downfield, moves up in the pocket, looks like he's going to draw it, and does. Dances across the 25 and flattened at the 26-yard line by Trevor Carlton, the linebacker from Cartersville, Georgia. It's going to be well short of a first down, and it's going to be 4th and 4 coming up from the 25-yard line. Bluefield hesitating to even send out Drake Presley, but it seems like a no-brainer when you're back down near your own red zone. So Drake Presley comes out. Adam Casto has been the long snapper since Devin Jackson was taken out of that role a couple of weeks ago, and now Casto will be the main long snapper for the rest of the season. And back to receive for Reinhardt is Otis Odom. Direct snap to Presley, gets off a high end-over-end punt. Odom backs up on it, and it actually is knocked off of Tyrese Henry, who is rushing down, and the ball rolled all the way back to the 19-yard line. So a good punt, even though it seemed like it was booted by Henry in the air.
They threw a beanbag. I'm not sure if they're going to bring this one back. If not, we might get away with one.
Well, it looks like that's what they're going to do. They're going to the spot of the beanbag, which is all the way up at the Reinhardt 35-yard line. So that ball was kicked about 15 yards by Tyrese Henry, and Odom did not even fair catch it. Looked like he made a decision to let the ball drop at the last minute. Now in as the running back is Treve Kane, right beside Wiggins in the gun. Now Wiggins with the hard snap, 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line with 12-12 in a scoreless first quarter. Wiggins looks at James Miller, the head coach, and gets the sign back. And now timeout called by Miller and Reinhardt. So that's going to bring us to our first break here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. 1st and 10 here at Reinhardt University in a scoreless first quarter. First and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Reinhardt lining up in the gun once again. Bluefield with 4 men on the line of scrimmage. Tyrese Henry looks like he's going to be the rover in this game like Devin Jackson was in the past for Bluefield. Now Wiggins lines up from the middle of the field in the gun, brings a man in motion. The snap, whip behind him. Ball still rolling inside the 19 and recovered for Bluefield. Falling on it was DeMarcus Wimbush, and Bluefield will have 1st and 10 inside the red zone.
And Billy, that is a huge break. Now let's capitalize. We're inside the 20-yard line against a very good Reinhardt team early in the first quarter. Let's see if we can put them behind because their offense is not designed to play from behind.
It was a bad snap from Xavier Carter, and even though Reinhardt absolutely walloped Pikeville last week, they did have problems on the snap. So now Bluefield gets the ball at the Reinhardt 19-yard line. And I got to see if they can do something in the red zone. At least get a field goal out of this as Kason Witt and company walks back up to the line. Malik Brown will be the running back right behind him. Johnny Myers positioned on the left on the far side as the ball is near the right hash. Play action. Witt looks downfield under pressure, and he's brought down Xavier Dyer with a sack back at the 30-yard line. It's a loss of 11. So now it's 2nd and 21, and it makes it even harder for Bluefield because now they're knocked out of the red zone on one play.
And, Bailey, if we could add another second or two, Kason Witt had Johnny Myers wide open, headed for the corner of the end zone.
There's big rushes coming off of the end. Tevin McCoy as well as Javier Dyer are going to be the guys to watch out for today as Witt gets the shotgun snap, fires over the middle right off of the hands of Charles Black. On the defense for the Eagles, looked like it was Malik Davis there to flatten him out. Actually, it was Dawson Mitchell. Dawson Mitchell, the Mike linebacker, has been very tough for Reinhardt this year. So now it's 3rd and 19 from the 28-yard line. Bluefield just got the ball at the 19 after a fumbled snap. Witt, shotgun, looks left, flares down the far sideline looking for Myers, and it is intercepted in the end zone. Jalen Holloman, the free safety, caught it and landed in the end zone. So now a touchback. Bluefield got the ball on a turnover, and they answer with their own turnover. So a big break for Xavier Carter, the center for Reinhardt.
And I think Kason Witt had made up his mind at the line of scrimmage. He had already been rushed twice in that drive, so he made up his mind, hey, I'm going to shoot for the end zone here early in the first quarter, and he did not see the safety over top.
So now it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 20. We're still scoreless here in Waleska, Georgia, as Reinhardt takes the field once again. Wiggins, the sophomore from Ranburne, Alabama, lining up on the right hash, operating in the shotgun with Kane, the running back, the redshirt freshman from Commerce, Georgia, on his left. A pretty thick running back, 6'2", 235. Now brings a man in motion, fakes the jet sweep, and Wiggins will take it right up the middle, rushes across the 25 and up to the 29-yard line on a solid gain. He's going to be just short of a first down. It's going to be about 2nd and 1 coming up.
Yeah, these snaps, every snap that we've seen from Reinhardt has been either bobbled or just thrown away, so that's going to be something to watch. Absolutely.
Well, now they go under center. Another man in motion from right to left, and flags coming up right before the play on 2nd and 1 from the 29-yard line. Could possibly push Reinhardt back. And it's going to be a false start on Sidney Ham. Or Brady Harper, rather. Now bringing in a new lineman for Reinhardt. Trey Teasley taken off. And they'll bring in Ian Schumacher to play left tackle.
Teasley was in for that one play because Schumacher lost his helmet, so I guess
it was actually Skylar Martin. They have double numbers here. So it's the other number 74 as Wiggins lines up. 2nd and 6 from the 24. Hands it off or take it right up the middle, and he's tackled at the 25-yard line. Bluefield hanging pretty tough with under 11 minutes left to go. 3rd and 6 coming up. Actually, it's going to be 3rd and 4 from the 26-yard line. They have to get up to the 30. Wiggins looking out on the Reinhardt sideline to his left. Ball spotted on the right hash, 3rd and 4 with 10.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Brings a man in motion again, right to left. Wiggins gets the snap, looks downfield, now rolls out left, pump fake, rolling right now. He's going to take it. Brandon Kale on the chase, and he breaks a tackle and gets close to the yard marker, but he's tackled just about a yard short up at the 29. They're going to send out the punt team, so Bluefield once again forcing a 3-and-out. And that is exactly what Dino Kaklis and the defensive line coach Ron Howard were talking about before the game. They have to force 3rd and long or 2nd and long because they're a team that's going to run the ball and have 3rd and viable to go. And right there was 3rd and 4, and they made them try to go downfield. So now Nick Marquez back to punt on 4th and 2. He gets the snap at his chest, and another end-over-end punt, booming, bouncing at the 35-yard line and rolling on the near corner. And looks like it's going to be Bluefield ball at their own 34. So the Rams with a couple of good defensive stances. 9:34 left here in the first quarter. Bluefield will get the ball at their own 34-yard line.
False touchdown by number 16 on the 36-yard line. That will be
so, Nick, they moved it up to the 36, rather, so 1st and 10 for Bluefield from a slightly better spot here on the right hash. Corbin Cash now brought out as a wide receiver. We haven't seen him that much this year. upperclassmen for Bluefield, but the lack of Antonio Strickland gives Cash another chance to play. Rashad Butler in for the first time as Bluefield's running back will line up behind Witt in the gun. 1st and 10 from the 36. 6 men on the line of scrimmage for Reinhardt. And a snap to Butler. No, Witt will take it out right, dumps it off to Black on the near sideline, and he dances out of bounds for a short gain up to the 37. So they faked the handoff. Witt looked like he was going to run it and then dumped off on a short screen to Charles Black. So now it's going to be 2nd and 8 from the 38.
And you might be wondering, why is Bluefield coming out trying to throw as much as they are when we're predominantly a running team? Well, Reinhardt's lining up with so many people in the box and leaving a lot of man-to-man coverage on the outside. All it takes is one play for that to break.
Now in the gun, Butler in the backfield with Alex Martin as well. Dropped the snap, and he's just going to land on his behind as the rush was coming in. Another big rush for Reinhardt, that time from Brennan Holden, the freshman defensive tackle. And the snaps haven't looked good on either side of the ball for either team. Now 3rd and 12 from the 38. Already have seen 2 turnovers today, one from Bluefield on an interception by Jalen Holloman and a fumbled snap on a bad one from Xavier Carter. Now 3rd and 12, 8:30 to go as Witt looks downfield under all kinds of pressure, and he's sacked on a screen pass by Tion Burrows. Blitzed right between the guard and tackle, and Witt didn't have any time for that screen to develop. So it's a loss of a lot, going to bring the Bluefield Rams all the way back to their own 24. It's going to be 4th and about a mile for Drake Presley and the punt team. Otis Odom will line up at the 41-yard line, and the rush has been there today, Nick, for Reinhardt.
Absolutely. We hardly have time to hand the ball off. Casey Witt's going to have to just get in his drop and trust his arm and trust that his first read is going to be there.
Presley with his toes back at the 8-yard line. A high snap for the tall punter. Sends off a good punt line drive. Caught by Odom on the ground, and he runs up to the 45-yard line. Tackled by Tyrese Henry. And Reinhardt will start out in Bluefield territory. Just kind of trapped that one on the turf. And Odom went up the middle, and Tyrese Henry, who's played all right today so far in the first quarter, already has another tackle. So 1st and 10 from the Bluefield 45. And Reinhardt already getting that hometown PA. They got the hometown crowd packed into this one-sided stadium. They're at Kent White Stadium in Waleska, Georgia. Everything's named after Kent White here in this school. Founded in 1883 with 1,000 people. Wiggins under center with Kane, the running back, right behind him. Hands it off to the freshman who clunks his way up to the 39-yard line. And it's a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Actually, the running back, Nick, lines up in a 3-point stance. Running with a little bit of a double wing here. Wiggins under center again, brings the man in motion, fakes the jet sweep, and actually hands it off to him as he dances down the far sideline. Wicked tackle by Carlton Toussaint. Looked kind of sketchy on the handoff to Quay Stocks. As Stocks will manage to get it up near the marker, and they're going to move the chains at the 34-yard line, 1st and 10.
And going back to this wing T style offense, you mentioned that the running back is in a 3-point stance. He's also extremely close to the line of scrimmage, which makes misdirection a lot easier to cause.
Now 1st and 10 from the 34, a man in motion again. Wiggins is going to roll out left, under pressure, breaks a tackle. He's going to draw up the middle. Marcus Wimbush going for his ankles, and finally tackled at the 32-yard line by Terrence Hall, the defensive lineman from the state of Maryland. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
And Bailey, I might add, we mentioned it in the pregame show that Larry Jefferson's going to be a big deal. We have not seen him in this game just yet.
2nd and 8 from the 32 on the left hash as Wiggins lines up under center. Fake handoff, or rather he's just going to dump it off right on a sweep to Reggie Mack. And Mack actually slipped up. No gain, and it's going to be 3rd and 8 at the 32, so Reinhardt at times has shot themselves in the foot. Reggie Mack falling to the ground that time and actually moved it out right on the right hash now. So they have to get the ball up to the 24-yard line of Bluefield. 3rd and 8 from the 32 as Wiggins lines up in the gun. Gets the snap, rolls out left, pump fake, and a bullet pass caught at the 28-yard line by Ace Williams, tackled by Wimbush. That'll be close to a first down, and it will be. Moving the chains, 1st and 10 for Reinhardt, their first 2 first downs of the game. Moves the ball up to the 29. Running back beside Wiggins is Lanier. Now in the gun. Drops back, looks right, and just there was a fastball in the dirt on the right hash. Pass intended for Montralius Mosley, who has been the leading rusher for Reinhardt so far, but as prescribed, Nick, they're bringing in a ton of different guys to get reps for James Miller's team.
They are. Those fresh legs cannot be underestimated in a game as fast-paced as football has become these days.
Still no score, 5:49 here in Waleska, Georgia in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 and a direct snap to Billy Hall this time, dancing down the near sideline, and Will Seltz finally upended him at the 15. And a good carry by Billy Hall, who is the other quarterback that'll line up in these red zone situations as Wiggins is taken out. Lining up behind him is Stanley Long. Hall under center now in the double wing with Ronnie Chambliss, the receiver, all the way out on the left. Pressured by Dawkins as Hall will hand it off to Long right up the middle. He ducks his head and dances up to the 6-yard line. That's a good gain of 5. Or rather, got up to the 9. So now it's 2nd and 5 from the 9. A fresh set of downs will constitute up at the 4. Now Wiggins back in with Logue, the running back, behind him. Hands it off to Mosley in motion, who shuffles his way up to the 1-yard line. That's going to be a first down for Reinhardt, and it's going to be 1st and goal for the first time today with 5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Reinhardt looking for their first score. They got the ball to start this drive at the Bluefield 40. Now Wiggins looking for the offensive signs. They are a team that does not huddle with the clock now ticking 4:50. He's going to walk up under Xavier Carter. Kane is the running back behind him. 1st and goal from the 3. Handoff to Kane, gets a block, plunging his way close to the end zone and diving across the goal line. Touchdown Reinhardt. 6-0 with 4:34 left in the first quarter, and that's the Reinhardt football that we've heard about this entire year.
Absolutely. That's the kind of pace that we expected, and we expect them to run a little bit more than they have.
And now they're lining up in a muddle huddle. Dylan Hall behind the center. The whole line is out on the left. Bluefield trying to adjust to that. Hall says everybody come back in, and it looks like they're going to kick this one. Just trying to make sure Bluefield's on their toes as Nick Marquez will line up for the PAT. So now everybody back lining up in a field goal formation. Low snap. Kick is away and booted into the trees. They need a net there. 7-0, 4:34 left here in the first quarter. Reinhardt takes the lead against Bluefield here on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
For Bluefield, number 5, Malik Brown. And number 82, Jeffrey Hughes.
Welcome back, everybody. A touchdown by Trevay Kane puts Reinhardt up 7-0 here with 4:34 left to go in the first quarter. Bluefield has had their chances. Matter of fact, they got the ball at the 19-yard line of Reinhardt, but then Kaysen Witt, after going backwards for 2 plays, threw an interception. So here comes Nick Marquez ready to kick from his own 35. Dances up to the ball and sends a booming spinning kick. It's received by Jeffrey Hughes, and he dropped it. Went back into the corner of the end zone, and he will take a knee. So Bluefield will start out at their own 25-yard line. The pressure has been there, Nick, and you're really starting to see where Quante Hines was needed here in this offense.
Right, with Mafiq sliding over, there's some new guys over there on the left side of that line, and if you're a quarterback, that's the last place that you want pressure from, especially as a right-handed quarterback, as Kaysen is. That's going to be your blind side. You're not going to be able to see them coming, and that's honestly has been the story for this offense. Because if we can drop back, give Kaysen Witt a little bit of time, these defensive backs are sticking in man-to-man coverage, and Charles Black and Corbin Cash will be able to get open.
Now Sir Darius Mixon brought in at the guard position to replace Destin McMillan. Now in the gun is Rashad Butler as the running back. A play action, and it'll fire it over the middle to Jeffrey Hughes, who falls on the ball at the 29-yard line. A gain of 4 on a short pass by Kason Witt. Bluefield already looks like they have changed up the play calling than we have seen in the past, Nick, where they have predominantly run the ball with their 3 running backs. Kason Witt is dropping back a lot more because of how many men Reinhardt is lining up with in the box.
Reinhardt is here to defend the run. They're saying if Bluefield's going to beat us, they're going to do it with their arm.
2nd and 6 as Butler will dance up across the 30-yard line up to the 34. Shimmy shake move by the young man, and that'll be the third down for Bluefield. And 1. Butler staying in. This seems kind of like an Alex Martin situation. 3rd and 1 from the 34-yard line. Destin McMillan, the guard on the left side of Andrew McPhee. Witt in the gun. Play action. Rolls out right. Dumps to Charles Black, and it's in the dirt. And Bluefield deciding with some trickery on the 3rd and 1 with a play action and trying to use that little screen play again to Charles Black, and it just amounts to a 3 and out. Now the punt team coming out again with the ball spotted at the 34-yard line. It's 7-0 Reinhardt here at Kent White Stadium in Waleska, Georgia. They are the number 3 team in NAIA. It's being played for at least a share of the Appalachian Division title. Drake Presley back to punt with his toes at the 19-yard line. Otis Odom back to receive. Good snap to Presley. He steps into it, and it's a high punt, not very deep. Odom with a fair catch at the 30, and he tried to run. That should be a penalty.
That absolutely should be a penalty, Bailey.
They do not throw the flag, and Odom thought that he could run. And he looked to be a little miffed when they blew the whistle. But now it's at the 30-yard line, so 1st and 10 for Reinhardt.
And as we've seen earlier, Odom has not wanted to throw that fair catch up. As the ball was maybe 30 feet from him, he decided to just wave his arm once. Maybe he thought the referees didn't see it.
Well, now 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 30-yard line. Bluefield lining up with 5 men on the line of scrimmage as Wiggins will hand it off to Kane again. Bounces outside, throws a stiff arm up, and tackled on the play by Carlton Toussaint on a gain of 3. Now with a little over 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, Reinhardt looking for what could be their 4th first down of the game. As Wiggins lines up in the gun again from the right hash on his own 34-yard line. 2nd and 6 to go. Now calling an audible, looking over to his offensive coordinator. Brandon Kale also on the line of scrimmage, the freshman from Chilhowie, Virginia. Man in motion will hand it off to Mosley, actually take it up himself, then spins across to Marcus Wimbush up to the 37-yard line, a gain of 3. It's going to be 3rd and 3 to go. This is those situations that Bluefield is trying to really resolve where they have 3rd and short. Looking for a stance here at their own 37-yard line. Reinhardt lines up from the right hash, 3rd and 3. 2:18 on the clock. Mosley in motion. Hand off to him. Right up the middle, and a tackle made by Logan Hinnett, rather. And he's going to be short of the first down. So Hinnett able to see where that play was going on a counter where they were going to hand it off to Mosley in motion, trying to go in between the guard and the tackle. 4th and 1 from the 39, and Reinhardt lining up like they'll go for it. Malik Gibson, the running back, hands it off to Mosley, and Bluefield comes up with a stop. Rams were there. DeMarcus Wimbush made the tackle. Tyrese Henry blitzed off the edge, and it's a turnover on downs, and the Rams will have the ball in Reinhardt territory again. 1st and 10 Rams at the 38-yard line.
I'm telling you, Bailey, this Bluefield team, I've never seen them more excited to play football. Tyrese Henry has had a heck of a first quarter coming in and taking over that rover spot. It's been fun to watch.
Tyrese Henry filling in for Devin Jackson. With 2 games left, he might have a new job as the Rover. Here comes that offensive line that has been tested here in the first quarter. 1:44 left in the first period as Bluefield will line up at the 37-yard line. Malik Brown in, and a fake handoff to him. Witt will take a draw right up the middle and tackled on the play immediately by Tion Burrows. And Quincy Standifer tried to blitz in and nail Witt helmet to helmet, and his helmet popped off. No penalty, and it's actually a loss of 1. That read has not worked well for the Rams. Back at the 38-yard line, 2nd and 11. 3 receivers out left as Witt looks down the field. Has to move up, and he's sacked.
There's the pressure from the left side once again.
Tackled on the play by the defensive end, Tevin McCoy, who actually leads the team in tackles for loss. So add another one for the young man from Carrollton, Georgia. And now it'll be 3rd and 17 all the way back at the Bluefield, or at the Reinhardt 44. So this is the second time today where Bluefield gets the ball in Reinhardt territory, and it's just gone backwards. 3 receivers out left with the ball spotted on the right hash. Malik Brown, the running back, delayed handoff to him, dances across, and he's tackled for a loss at the 45-yard line. Coming through right through those gaps, Keon Carter, the sophomore or the freshman safety. Bluefield will send out the punt team again. It's going to be 4th and 18. They just cannot get anything going. The blitzes have flattened Bluefield offensively. And with the clock now ticking, under 20 seconds left here in the first quarter, Reinhardt staying on the field, but Bluefield is going to let this tick all the way down, Nick, and there needs to be changes on that offensive end.
Absolutely. I mean, an offensive line as a group, they hang out together, they eat together, they do all that. And when you substitute one in, it just throws everybody off. And so far this game, we haven't been able to run the ball or sit back long enough for Casey Witt to get a pass off. My personal opinion is if we can get 2 to 3 seconds of time, we're going to be able to beat these Reinhardt defensive backs because they have 9, 10 guys stacked in the box trying to stop our run.
That's going to be it for the first quarter. Reinhardt leads Bluefield 7-0 in a very important matchup here in Waleska, Georgia. Second quarter coming up on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Drake Presley ready to punt. It is 4th and 18 from the Bluefield, or the Reinhardt 45. Otis Odom back to receive a high snap, and Presley sends a line drive spiraling kick caught by Odom and bobbled at the 15-yard line. Gets a block. Now room to run up at the 38-yard line and finally dragged down by Isaiah Fenner. That was a shot of lightning past the first row of blockers, and Bluefield will have to go back out on defense with Reinhardt getting the ball 1st and 10 of the 38.
So far, so good for this defense, Bailey. We've given up 1 touchdown, but other than that, this Reinhardt offense has been high-powered and hard to stop this entire season. We've done a great job in the first quarter. Let's see if we can continue it through the second.
So now 1st and 10 from the 39. Wiggins, the quarterback, and the running back, Otis Odom, drops back, hangs down the field looking for Chambliss, and it's too far out. Incomplete. Ronnie Chambliss was wide open down the seam on a play action that had Antonio Dawkins beat. And if he throws that on the money, that's 6. Dawkins was 15 yards behind the wide receiver.
We caught a huge break there. That ball was maybe an inch from his fingertips.
So now it is 2nd and 10 from the 39. Wiggins in the gun again with Odom right beside him. Or rather, that is Lanier. Hands it off to Quay Stocks, but a flag before the play. So many running backs to keep up with for the Eagles.
There is a flag, but once again, the snap messed up the entire rhythm, and this entire offense is based off rhythm with motions.
Snap infraction on Xavier Carter, and that has been a tough game so far for the center. A senior playing on senior day here at Kent White Stadium from Snellville, Georgia. He's already had the bad snap. Luckily for him, his defense bailed him out because on the ensuing possession, Casey Witt threw an interception there in the first quarter. And that right there, if Bluefield gets anything going, they take the lead. It was 0-0 at that point. Now back to the second quarter, 2nd and 15 with Wiggins under center. Play action to Lanier, rolls out left, under pressure, being chased down, and Bluefield flattens him up the 34-yard line. Combining on the tackle, Nelson Armour, as well as Logan Hinnant. And Hinnant looked to be a little shaken up on the play. So it's a gain of 2, 3rd and 13 up to the 34.
Bailey, maybe a little gamesmanship trying to get that second defensive line coming in.
3rd and 12 rather from the 36 or 37-yard line. 3rd and 12 from the 37 in the gun. Wiggins with 3 receivers on the near side. Ball in the middle of the field. Play action. Looks down the field. Now a rush coming. Rolls out right, and DeMarcus Wimbush spun him down to the ground for a sack. The linebacker has been everywhere today, Nick, and Wimbush is a big part of the reason why Reinhardt is struggling.
Absolutely. Wimbush and Tyrese Henry have just put this defense on their back this afternoon, made some big plays in big situations on 3rd down.
So now it's going to be 4th and 12. Wimbush with another sack. Black back to receive. And Nick Marquez wearing number 5 today, as he usually wears number 91, with his toes up the 23-yard line. And it looks like someone's hurt for Bluefield. Now the training staff running out. Michael Everett on the ground at the 40. It's only 7-0, folks. Reinhardt up in this one here in the second quarter.
And Bluefield's had their chances, like you've mentioned. We've started once inside the red zone and then another time on Reinhardt's side of the field. And the story so far offensively is our offensive line just has not been able to get a push on runs, and we cannot protect Kason Witt as he drops back.
Well, Kason Witt has had no time, and the plays just haven't developed like they wanted to. On the interception, he just had to heave it up there. Now Marquez gets the snap to punt and boots a high spiraling kick that sends Black on a back pedal. Fair catch made at the 14-yard line. Bluefield will start out in bad field position for their first drive of the second quarter. 13:28 rather left here in the first half. Rams have not had a lot of yards of offense, to say the least. They've had their chances after the fumbled snap, as well as that turnover on downs. The defense has been absolutely stellar, and they have been the difference in so many games here in this 5-game winning streak. Now 1st and 10 from the 15 on the far hash. Andrew McPhee lining up as the center after the suspension of Quante Hines. Now Butler, the running back, on the right of Kason Witt. Witt gets the snap, hands it off to Butler, who sprints up across the line of scrimmage, immediately tackled up at the 19 on the play. Gain of 4 by the tackle, Brendan Holden. So now it's going to be 2nd down from the 19-yard line. So now 2nd and 7. Ball spotted in the middle of the field. Bluefield looking over to Dewey Lusk as well as Gil Lusk for the play calls. Now McPhee, center. Now in the gun. Witt hands it off to Butler, bounces out left side, and just dives up for a short to no gain. Those linebackers have been there. Dawson Mitchell saw that play from a mile away and forces a 3rd down situation for Bluefield. 3rd and 7 at the 18.
And if you're Reinhardt, with the pressure you've gotten on Kason Witt, you want to put them in passing situations.
Now 3rd and 7. Bluefield, like you said, probably trying to air it out here. Has Jeffrey Hughes on the far side. Trips receivers left. Witt drops back under immediate pressure once again and sacked. Tevin McCoy coming off of the edge, and he just got the ankles of the quarterback from Massaponax. Now it's 4th down. Another sack for Reinhardt. And that sounds like a broken record here in the first half. Otis Odom back to receive a punt. He's ready again at his own 45-yard line for Drake Presley to send him one, who has to position himself about 2 yards deep in the end zone. Bluefield has the ball at the 13. Odom had a decent return his last time. Presley back out to punt. Good snap and a booming punt, spiraling back for Odom, backpedaling at the 41-yard line. He'll take it right up the middle, crosses the 45, now 40, dances out left and tackled up at the 32-yard line. Solid gain as a helmet came off for Bluefield. Caleb Jackson actually lost his helmet on the special teams play, but now great field position for Reinhardt after the good return by Otis Odom.
And as Drake Presley kicked it, I thought, oh, my goodness, we're going to put him on the other side of the 50. But there's Odom again with another great return. And he's just explosive coming out of there.
That'll be 1st and 10 from the 31. 7-0 Reinhardt. 11:38 left here in the second quarter. Dylan Wiggins now brought out once again as the quarterback. Stanley Logue is the running back. And the tight end will be Gunnar Wright lining up on the left side. Now Wiggins in the gun. Hands it off to Logue on the left side. Breaks across the 25, now at the 20, and wrestles his way up to the 18-yard line for a gain of 13. It's 1st and 10. Now Logue lining back up on the left side, kind of gimpy after the tackle made. 1st and 10, actually up at the 14. Snap, handoff to Logue, goes left side, trying to find a block, and he'll get up to the 5-yard line on a gain of about 8. And Logue makes it 2nd and 2. Yeah, just been able to move the ball here on just 2 plays thanks to Logue. Take it off, and Trevay Kane now brought in as the running back. He already has a touchdown today. Wiggins will line up in the gun from the left hash. Darius Flowers and Tracy Parker Jr., the defensive lineman for Bluefield. Hand off to Kane. He stands straight up, and he inches up for a first down to the 2-yard line. He didn't hit that hole hard at all.
No, he did not. He was trying to dance around and maybe try and find a hole that wasn't there. And, Billy, I am not an official, and I don't claim to be. But these Reinhardt offensive linemen are honestly just falling down and laying on top of our D linemen, and that's just tough.
1st and goal from the 2. Handoff to Kane. Hurdles over the line of scrimmage and into the end zone. 2nd touchdown of the game for the freshman. And it is now 13-0 Reinhardt with 10:27 in the second quarter. PAT ensuing. Now they just move the ball so easily right there as they line up in the muddle huddle again. Dylan Hall, the holder, or if they go for 2, he will be the quarterback. Carson Ivester, the long snapper, lines up with the ball. Hall looks like they're going to go for 2. He's going to take it right up the middle, and he is stopped short. So on the muddle huddle, the offensive line was all the way out on the left. Hall just had 1 blocker to go, and he was tackled by DeMarcus Wimbush on the play, about a yard short of the end zone. 13-0 Reinhardt up with 10:27 left here in this second quarter. So far, it's been a lot of offensive woes for Bluefield, trying to rectify that when we come back here on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
Support your Reinhardt Eagles. Every purchase of soft drinks, candy, popcorn, and so much more.
Nick Marquez ready to kick from the left hash. 10:27 left here in the second quarter. It is 13-0 Reinhardt, number 3 team up on Bluefield in a game that could clinch at least a share of the Appalachian Division title here in Waleska, Georgia. Another touchdown by Trevay Kane. This time it was about 2 yards, and the running back just hurdled over the line of scrimmage. Here is Marquez. Goes up to the ball and sends an end-over-end kick to Jeffrey Hughes, who will receive it at the 1-yard line. Toes down the right hash looking for blocks, dances across the 20, and runs into some Eagles up at the 23-yard line. About a 22-yard return for the freshman, and now Bluefield will have 1st and 10. Trying to get that offense clicking, Nick. Kason Witt has had no time to throw downfield, and he's not a guy that racks up a lot of yards anyway, and Bluefield has also not been able to really get the run game going.
Absolutely. Our passing game, when we do pass, is not a deep passing game by any means. It's 4 and 5 yards, maybe some screens, and we haven't had time to do that. And also, we can't get a push when we try and run the ball. So that's just, that's the only 2 things you can do in offense, and right now we're not clicking on either one.
Well, 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line at the right hash. A low snap and a handoff to Alex Martin, his first carry of the game. He'll clunk up to the 28. Gain of 3 for the junior running back from Dobson, North Carolina, not too far from Mount Airy, North Carolina. So now 2nd and 7. Still at the right hash with under 10 minutes left. Rams lining up with both Alex Martin and Malik Brown as running backs. Now a handoff to Brown, and he'll try to scat his way up across the line of scrimmage. Powers his way across the 30 up to the 31 for Dawson Mitchell threw his body in there. Now it's going to be 3rd and 5 after the gain of 2 on the right hash.
Yeah, this is probably the best offensive situation we've been in all day.
Exactly. It was actually 3rd and 3. So now at the 28-yard line. Win in the gun. Play action. Actually will hand it off to Malik Brown, and the defensive line was right there again. And they were not faked out on that supposed draw by Kaysen Witt. No gain. Bluefield will have to punt once again, another 3 and out. Kareem Warren able to throw in his body. Reinhardt just so deep here. 4th and 3 from the 32. Otis Odom had a great return his last time, ready to receive back at his own 30. Good snap to Presley. He'll boot away a spiraling kick with a ton of hang time. Odom calls for fair catch and falls on the ball at the 30. That's got to be disappointing for him, a guy that has almost taken a few to the house. 1st and 10, Reinhardt at their own 30-yard line. The Eagles, even though that they have had their offensive woes so far today, and they've only been able to score where they have the ball starting out in Bluefield territory, they have had the ball for such a longer amount of time than the Rams have had.
They have, and with this wing T triple option style offense, it's not made to score in a hurry. This is an offense that was invented right around the same time as football was invented. They're going to have slow, methodical drives.
Lanier, the running back, will hand it off to him. He's got a hole, dives his way across up to the 36, a gain of 6 after Will Seltz threw in a shoulder at the ankles. And now 2nd and 4 coming up. Wiggins in the gun, another handoff to Lanier. He'll shuffle his way up to the line of scrimmage. DeMarcus Wimbush clogged up the hole. Now it's going to be 3rd and 2 after a gain of 2. At the 38-yard line, ball spotted in the middle of the field, and someone seems to be shaken up for Reinhardt. Lanier, the running back, already taken off. He's limping. And the player down for Reinhardt, still trying to figure out who that is. 3rd and 1 coming up at the 39-yard line. 13-0. 8:02 left in the first half. It's been all Reinhardt here in the second quarter. Number 3 team here in Waleska, Georgia. Rams have not really amounted to any offense whatsoever.
And Billy, that's the thing. With the problems that we've had offensively, it's not an easy fix in your scheme or just call some different plays. We're just being beat physically off the ball on the D-line, and it's frustrating as a head coach, I'm sure, and I'm sure the players are pretty frustrated with it too.
Well, it's just because you see where Quante Hines actually was a leader on that offensive line. You bring out some guys that haven't had that many reps, and you throw them out there against the number 3 team in the country. That's very tough, especially when they're blitzing off the edge on every play. They got a guy like Dawson Mitchell as a linebacker in the middle and 2 great defensive ends in Tevin McCoy as well as Javier Dyer. Well, the player actually shaken up was Montrelius Mosley. That could be a big loss for Reinhardt. He's carried off of the field by Sterling Sykes, as well as Josh Vincent. So his teammates making sure that the leading rusher for the Eagles is okay, and he is definitely shaken up. So now 3rd and 1 coming up as Reinhardt lines back up on the field. Trevay Kane, who already has 2 touchdowns, lines up as the running back. Redshirt freshman from Commerce, Georgia, 7 TDs on the year. Short yardage situation with Bluefield with 6 men on the line. Handoff on the right side, gets a stiff arm, and Carlton Toussaint wrestles down Quay Stocks for a loss back at the 25. 4th down coming up for Reinhardt, and they tried to go on the jet sweep when Bluefield loaded up the box, and instead it's a loss of 2, 4th and 3, and here comes the punt team.
And Bailey, this Bluefield defense has played absolutely incredible. This is a hard offense to prepare for, especially in only a week. And on these 3rd and short situations, what Reinhardt wants to be in, we've been able to come up with some pretty big stops.
Charles Black back to receive. He has not been able to get anything going here on special teams because of the long punts from Nick Marquez. So Bluefield has a number of blocked punts. Looks like they're going to line up to try to do that. Snap to Marquez, and Bluefield won't be able to get a hand on it. High spiraling punt that doesn't go long, bounces at the 30 and rolls up to the 40-yard line. And that was almost muffed. Isaiah Fenner had to olay the ball, really, and that would have just been a very tough turn of events for the Rams. But instead, 1st and 10 Bluefield at the 40-yard line, 13-0 Reinhardt here in the second quarter. Eagles have scored 2 touchdowns thanks to Trevay Kane on very short possessions for the Golden Eagles, or for just the Eagles, rather. Bluefield still has all 3 of their timeouts, and they are just trying to find some sort of offensive scheme that works. Now, James Jones, another freshman who has had some play time, now is the guard. As Witt lines up in the gun, under pressure, moves up in the pocket, slings it out to Hughes, and it's incomplete. He was absolutely flattened by Dawson Mitchell on a pass on the right side. Almost hung him out to dry there, but every play he is in danger of being sacked.
Right, and if you're a quarterback, you're thinking to yourself, well, hey, maybe we can call some plays where I roll out, some designed rollout plays to where I don't have to put my foot in the ground and worry about being hit.
2nd and 10 from the 40. Malik Brown lines up on the right side of Kaysen Witt with 2 receivers out left. Low snap, looks left, hangs it down the middle, looking for Jacoby Montgomery. And that pass just a little too high. Rather, for Bluefield, looks like that was Covington going down the field. Down the seam, and it'll be 3rd and 10. But that was the best-looking pass he's gotten off all day because he had to set his feet. He had time, and just the pass wasn't there. The coverage was well made by Taylor Hawkins. Now Bluefield lining up, 3rd and 10 from their own 40. Jeffrey Hughes in motion as Witt drops back, looks down the middle, fires, and it's caught for Charles Black. Bobbled the ball, lost it, and now on the ground, still rolling. Reinhardt has recovered. It would have been a 1st and 10 for Bluefield, and if this fumble stands, it's a turnover, and it will be. So they finally got a pass over the middle caught, and Charles Black dropped the ball as he was coming down. 1st and 10, Reinhardt at the 45. 2nd turnover for Bluefield. And it's just not been the Rams' half so far.
No, and that's got to kill you. You finally get a solid positive pass, a positive play for that matter, and unfortunately Charles Black just wasn't able to hang on.
1st and 10 at the 45, and it looked like Black was trying to cut back and trying to go down the middle of the field, but he just did not have any sort of opportunity to break away. Now a whistle. Timeout taken by Reinhardt with 6:20 left to go in the game. We'll take a break here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. So they're trying to get the clock right here after the turnover by Charles Black on a catch that would have been a Bluefield 1st down. Coughed up the ball and recovered by Reinhardt at the 45-yard line. So now they're trying to get the clock up to 6:30. As it stands right now, it is 6:15, and they have rectified it. Dylan Wiggins back out as Reinhardt will line up in the wing T. A couple of running backs. Lanier lines up as the running back right behind his quarterback. Bluefield with 4 men on the line of scrimmage. Marcus Wimbush has played well. Wiggins steps back in the gun now. 1st and 10. Now a man in motion. Hands it off on a jet sweep over to Jance Jordan. Dances up to the 49. Bluefield there on the tackle by Darius Flowers. And it'll be a gain of 4. 2nd and 6.
Bluefield's really picked up on the physicality this second quarter. Well, the second half of the second quarter, they've started to compete with Reinhardt up front. And you know what? I see absolutely zero fear in this Bluefield team.
And the rover position has done well. Tyrese Henry and the cornerback Carlton Toussaint also playing well. Now a handoff on a jet sweep out to Reggie Mack, and he'll fly up to the 45-yard line, close to a first down after a 2nd and 5. Will Seltz dove in to make the tackle. Have to see where they spot him. Not a good spot for Reinhardt. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Now on the right hash with 5:40 left here. Lanier lines up behind his quarterback. Wiggins hands it off to Reggie Mack, breaks on the right side, and the tackle made very close to the marker. It'll move it across after Michael Everett couldn't bring him down for a loss. It's going to be 1st and 10. Reinhardt first down, already leading 13-0. Number 3 team in NAIA, a program that is already 7-0. Rams 0-2 against ranked opponents so far this year. Cumberland, Tennessee, as well as Southeastern down in Lakeland. Wiggins in the gun. He drops back all kinds of time, and he'll just throw it out right on a screen pass to Marcus Wimbush, throwing himself to make the tackle after the catch was made by Kwani Green. Solid gain for Reinhardt. They move the ball across the 40 up to the 38-yard line. Bluefield now back in their own territory. 2nd and 3. Kane is back in as the running back now in a double wing. Again, Quay Stocks out in motion. They'll pitch it out left to him. He doesn't have room to run, trying to cut back up. Gets a few blocks and dances across the 40. Seltz not fooled, and he'll make the tackle for a loss of 2. It's going to be 3rd and 5.
And Bailey, East and West, our Bluefield defense has been able to stop them the entire day. These jet sweeps have not been able to work, and that's a large piece of this offense.
So the jet sweep didn't work. The pitch didn't work. Quay Stocks, though, got to give it to him. He tried to find his way, but there was absolutely no blocking for the wingback. So now Kane in as the running back again. 3rd and 5, Bluefield hoping for another big stop. Carlton Toussaint now filling in as the rover, as Tyrese Henry is the safety back at the 29-yard line. Now in the gun, Kane on the right of Wiggins. Hand off to Kane, going out left, and Carlton Toussaint reels him in for a loss of 2 back at the 42-yard line. It's going to be 4th and 7 coming up, and Bluefield forces yet another punt situation for Reinhardt.
And Bailey, we see Jace Jordan coming back into the game just a second ago. Unfortunately, I was watching the training staff pop his pinky finger back into place. He came running off the field, grabbing his hand, and I was watching it, and that hurts.
Well, you know what else could hurt right here, Nick? The risk of sounding cheesy, a 4th down conversion, because they do not send out the punt team. 3 receivers outright for Dylan Wiggins on the left hash. It's 4th and 7 from the 41. Play action. Looks downfield. Bluefield with a rush. Wiggins now spinning around, and he is sacked by Darius Flowers. Another turnover on downs. Wiggins was looking for it all with the receiver sprinting into the end zone, but the senior wrestled down the quarterback for a big loss, and Bluefield will take over at their own 48.
Yeah, this Bluefield defense, you can't say much about it. They've given up 13 points, but at the same time, they have come up with play after play after play against this high-powered Reinhardt offense.
And it could be a lot worse.
Absolutely.
Especially how many times Reinhardt has gotten the ball. Bluefield has brought the heat. But instead, on offense, they have just not amounted to much as Alex Martin is in. 1st and 10 from the 47. Jeffrey Hughes in motion. Witt drops back, pump fake, and he'll throw a pass over to Charles Black over the middle. Holds on to it this time, and he gets up to the 44-yard or 46-yard line, rather, of Reinhardt.
And that says a lot about Charles Black and Casey Witt's relationship. He comes out, throws a pass over the middle, best pass we've seen all day. Black ends up fumbling, goes right back to him the next play.
2nd and 3 from the 46 of Reinhardt as Witt flares it out to Jeffrey Hughes near sideline, dancing around and fights his way up to the 42. If he stays on his feet, no one to beat down the sideline. But instead, that's going to move the chains for Bluefield. A 1st down for the Rams at the 43.
And I don't want to jump the gun, but Bailey, it looks like Dewey Lusk and Gil Lusk maybe have found a couple plays that are going to be able to work with little
short
time.
passes.
Yes.
Alex Martin still in as the running back. 1st and 10 at the 43 of Reinhardt. Witt drops back. Flare it out to Martin. Dancing move, stiff arm, and he fights his way up for a hard yard gain up to the 42. It's only a yard, but Alex Martin's not a guy you really throw those screen passes to in most situations.
Right. More of a bruising running back. He's, I think you mentioned it earlier, he does get a little bit, looks stronger and stronger every time we see him.
2nd and 9 from the 42 with under 2 minutes left here in the first half. Bluefield down by 13. Witt drops back. Another pass over the middle, caught by Butler. And the short pass of the running back will get Bluefield up to the 39. And that was actually 3rd and 9. So now Bluefield will have, or rather that will be 3rd and 6 coming up. They moved that marker so quickly. 3rd and 6 at the 39-yard line from the right hash. Under a minute and a half to play in the first half. Hughes brought in motion. 2 receivers out right. Witt takes a draw up the middle and tries to break a tackle at the 35-yard line. Brought down to the 34. He's going to be short of a first down. And they should go for it here.
I agree 100%. I think this is a point where, I think Dewey's going to take a timeout to check it out. But I think personally, I would go for it. I would go with what hasn't worked, to be honest with you. I would hand it off to Alex Martin and see if he can do what he's done after the past 3 seasons at Bluefield.
4th and 1 coming up. A timeout by Dewey. Less than a minute 5 here in the first half. Rams down by 13, looking for a huge conversion. When we come back to the Rams Digital Network. Fourth and 1 for the Rams at the 34-yard line. They line up with the gun at the right hash. Shotgun snaps, hands it off to Martin, and gets beyond the tackle of Tevin McCoy. Looks like he's got a first down at the 33-yard line. Move the change. Bluefield moving the ball now with a minute left in the first half. Down 13-0. Got through that first row of tacklers, and the big running back got the first down. So now Butler will line up as the slot receiver, and now Casey Witt brings him back in. Under 50 seconds left and counting. Bluefield has a 1st and 10. Witt drops back, looks right, has to roll out, and he's tackled. Another sack for Tevin McCoy. Getting excited, and that'll push Bluefield all the way back to the 41. Clock still ticking.
Bailey, every sack we've given up has come from that left side or up the middle. That is a blaring weakness in this Bluefield offensive line. Everybody's running off. The clock was still winding down. I was wondering what was going on.
Well, they got to get the game clock right, but another timeout for Bluefield. We're going to stay live here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. The Rams looked like they were going for a little bit of a different game plan, mixing in some bubble screens as well as some short little passes over the middle, slants to Charles Black, and it worked. They got into a 3rd and manageable situation, then a 4th and short. They converted. But then, again, Tevin McCoy, the defensive end, just wrapping up Casey Witt for a large sack. It's going to be 2nd and 18. And they're trying to set the game clock once again. And a timeout call for Bluefield, 1 left. It's been their best drive of the game.
Right, and every time that we've got within striking distance with our kicker, Tanner Griffith, who has had an incredible year and can make it from deep, we've ended up having a sack that drops us back 10 to 11 yards and haven't been able to recover. So this is a different drive, same situation. Let's see if we can have a different outcome.
2nd and 18 from the 41-yard line. The Rams will get a fresh set of downs up at the 24. Butler now as a slot receiver, and a false start coming up. Jeffrey Hughes trying to anticipate that, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 2nd and 23. And another deflating play. Bluefield had the ball all the way up at the 34, and they're going to be pushed back to the 46 now. Still 13-0, and 38 seconds left on the game clock. Kaysen Witt trips receivers out left with the ball spotted near the right hash. 2nd and 23 for these Rams looking for their first score. Now have to think to get to manageable field position for their freshman kicker. They have one timeout left. Shotgun snap. Witt drops back, fires over the middle, immediately caught by Butler, but then flattened to the ground at the 42-yard line by Dawson Mitchell. It's going to be 3rd and very long still.
And Bailey, the umpire, almost caught that ball.
20 seconds left, and now another timeout called by Reinhardt this time. 15 seconds left here in the first half. 3rd and 19 coming up with the ball spotted at the 42. And looks like the Rams are trying to go for the first down here, or possibly a way to get Tanner Griffith into the ballgame.
Right, Bailey, that was my question. He must have been reading my mind. I was thinking, if you were Dewey Lusk, are you trying to get 6, or are you just trying to get into field goal position?
I think you got to get into field goal range, and Tanner Griffith has made some big kicks this year. It's a lot to ask of your freshman to hit a field goal of over 40 yards, but we've seen him hit something close to that. He hit a game winner against Point down in Alabama, 34-yarder a few weeks ago. Now against Reinhardt, a team that really has beaten teams by over 20 points in most of their games. They only lead the Rams 13-0. And I think that they kind of underestimated the power of the Bluefield defense in the first half. But that Reinhardt defense has been the strongest defense we have seen so far this year.
Without a doubt. A lot of pressure on Kaysen Witt, a lot of pressure on our running backs, and we haven't been able to get much going, but 18 seconds left.
3rd and 19 at the 42. Shotgun. Witt under pressure, rolls left, and he's going to be sacked by Tevin McCoy again. Bluefield pushed all the way back into their own territory, and they're just going to jog this one off of the field. Clock still ticking, and that'll be it for the first half. 13-0 Reinhardt leads Bluefield, the number 3 team as prescribed. That defense has been so tough for the Rams to face off against. They're getting shut out so far. Halftime in Waleska, Georgia. We'll be right back on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Back on the Rams Digital Sports Network, it's halftime here in Waleska, Georgia at Kent White Stadium. Bailey Engel and Nick Ratliff seeing the Rams down 13-0 to the Reinhardt University Eagles, the number 3 team in NAIA, and it's just been a day of offensive woes so far for the Rams, Nick. They haven't really been able to get anything going, especially after the defense really hands them the momentum.
Absolutely. Our defense has played incredible this afternoon, and unfortunately, this is my favorite part of the day, but we don't have many offensive stats to really talk about that are positive. Case and Witt, negative 40 yards, and that comes with when you get sacked 6 times in the first half. Honestly, the only highlight that we have is for special teams would be Drake Presley, 191 yards on punts. Dewey Leske said it all year. Drake Presley has really helped out our defense and helped out our team by flipping field position when our offense isn't running that well.
Well, he's averaging 38.2 yards per punt because he's punted 5 times. And Bluefield also has just, we talk about the sacks. You look at Reinhardt, Tevin McCoy, the defensive end, 3.5 sacks total today on Case and Witt. Bluefield's defense, though, doing a pretty good job. They've held Reinhardt to just 6 first downs, but Bluefield only has 2 of their own. And as far as rushing yards go, Reinhardt also struggling with that. They haven't really been able to score when they have not as favorable field position. Both times they have been able to punch the ball in the end zone on 2 touchdowns thanks to Trevay McCain. Gotten the ball right around the 35-yard line. For Bluefield, though, the turnovers also there, Nick. You saw that interception as well as the fumble.
Right, and turnovers, that's rough, especially the first one, Case and Witt's interception there in the first half off of a muffed snap to the quarterback. We were able to get it inside of their red zone. 2 plays didn't work out. Third down, we just try and take a shot from the end zone and doesn't make a play.
Well, the Rams have actually had the ball, which this is baffling to me. They've had the ball 12 minutes and 30 seconds. That's more than Reinhardt has had, who leads 13-0, 11-19. That does not sound right, but it seems like Bluefield's defense, though, has made the stops, and what Rod Howard and Dino Kaklis said before the game, trying to make them have 3rd and long, and they've been able to have stop them on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 today, and put a lot of pressure on Dylan Wiggins, the quarterback.
Right, and this has been a defensive ball game by far. Neither team in the first half has 100 yards, rushing and passing combined. So it's been a defensive battle. If you like pitching duels in baseball, then you truly would love this football game.
You see the rushing yards for Bluefield, though. You always have to back up on Bluefield's 3-pronged rushing attack, something that has really propelled them to this 5-game winning streak. Just down 13-0, by the way. Rashad Butler leading Bluefield in yardage with 8 total yards. Alex Martin with 4. Then Malik Brown with 3. That has been it for the Rams. Charles Black has a fumble in this game, and he's leading the Bluefield receivers right now with 24 yards. Jeff Hughes has made 2 catches for 7 yards, as has Rashad Butler, and Alex Martin made 1 catch for 1 yard there in the second quarter. Bluefield down 13-0 with under 5 minutes left to go in the half. They're going to be getting the ball back to start out the third quarter and trying to come up with an upset victory here in Waleska, Georgia, down 13-0 against the Reinhardt Eagles. Welcome back here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Just about ready to start the third quarter as the Rams trail 13-0 to the Reinhardt Eagles here in Waleska, Georgia, playing for at least a share of the Appalachian Division title. Bailey Engel and Nick Ratliff. It's been a tough one so far for the Rams offensively. The defense has looked better than they ever have, but unfortunately are down 13-0. Nick, if the Rams want to come off with a huge upset here and come back in the second half, what needs to happen?
Our offensive line needs to show up this half. They need to be able to figure out what they did in the first half that didn't work, whether that's splits or just knowing who they're supposed to block. Like you said earlier, Quante Hines was a big factor in not only being a senior on this offensive line, but as the center, you're the leader of this offensive line. So that was a huge problem there in the first half. As we mentioned, they had 6 sacks. And offensively, we need to be better. Our defense, honestly, Dino Calculus could not ask for more out of them in that first half.
Bluefield has been sacked 6 times so far in this one. Tevin McCoy, the defensive end, has racked up 3.5 sacks for the Eagles, a guy that was already leading this team in tackles for loss. Reinhardt has the size. They have the intensity on defense. Bluefield has been able to match that with their own defense. They're a little bit quicker on the defensive end, but they haven't had as many sacks, but still they have managed to put Dylan Wiggins and the running back staple for Reinhardt down just a tad bit. Now here come the Rams out to receive this kick. Malik Brown and Jeff Hughes back to receive a kick from number 5, Nick Marquez. Rams down 13-0, looking for a momentum swing here in Waleska, Georgia. The number 3 team in Reinhardt looking for another conference title and a chance to go to the NAIA playoffs. They're already the number 3 team in the country. Marquez dances up to the ball and sends an end-over-end kick, received by Hughes at the 7-yard line. Now cutting back near side, spins up towards the middle, dancing around and tackled at the 18-yard line. He had nowhere to go, just about a 13-yard carry for Jeffrey Hughes, and Bluefield will start up at the 19th.
And Bailey, there in the first half, towards the end of the first half, rather, on that last drive that we had, Dewey and Gil Lusk found something that worked. They were looking for short, quick passes to get the ball out of Casey Witt's hands before the defensive line could get there.
1st and 10 from the 18. Have to see if they keep mixing it up with those short passes because the run game has not been there either. Andrew McPhee once again, the center. Kaysen Witt on the right hash. He'll try to hand it off, and Rashad Butler just fell down. Rather, it was Malik Brown. Brown, when he was going to receive the handoff, just fell on his knees. He slipped, and that is the worst way to start out this second half. 2nd and 15 after a loss of 5. Back to the 13-yard line. 3 receivers out left as Witt drops back. Time to throw, and he lost the ball. Picked up by Xavier Dyer. And another turnover as the sack was made. Tevin McCoy punched his hand in on Kaysen Witt, and a turnover on downs. Great field position for Reinhardt, already up 13-0.
And that's worst case scenario for Bluefield. Going into the half, you got to think the one positive thing that they could take out of that, other than their defense, of course, was the fact that, hey, we're getting the ball back. We're going to have a chance to make this a one-possession game again. And then on the second play of the drive, Kaysen Witt, having pressure in his face, coughs it up.
Third turnover of the game, rather, for third turnover, second fumble. Kaysen Witt with an interception as well. Trevay McCain, the running back, and a handoff to him. He'll dance up towards the middle. Terrence Hall, big body, wrestles him down to the ground on a short gain. And it's going to be second down coming up with 14 minutes left in the third quarter, just off of a fumble by Kaysen Witt. Trevay Kane in as the running back again as Wiggins is under center. 2nd down and 7. Now a man in motion, Mosley back in as Kane gets the handoff, untouched into the end zone. 9 yards to pay dirt, and now a 3-score lead for Reinhardt.
And I was about to say, Bailey, they want to be in 3rd and short. Imagine getting the ball inside the 20-yard line, how excited that Reinhardt offense was. And he was untouched getting into the end zone.
Once again, they're going to line up in a muddle huddle. Jace Jordan, the freshman wide receiver, lining up as the quarterback, now telling everyone to bring back in. Dylan Hall will hold for Nick Marquez. They tried to go for 2 last time, now up 19-0. Snap is good, kick is away, and through the uprights. It's 20-0. Reinhardt up on Bluefield after the turnover to start out the second half. It's a 3-score lead for the Eagles over the Rams.
Back to receive for Bluefield, number 5, Malik Brown.
After a fumble on the first drive of the third quarter, Bluefield gives up 7. It's 20-0 after the third touchdown of the game, scored by Trevay Kane. 9-yard rush on a second down as Nick Marquez is ready to kick again. Goes up to the ball and kicks it on the near side, received by Malik Brown, who will get the first catch today. Now looking for a block, dances out near sideline, looking for some more blocks, and will rush up across the 30 to the 34 after a swarm of Eagles punched him out of bounds. Good return for Malik Brown, and now Bluefield will have a first down and another chance to try to come back here. They have came back in the past, Nick, against teams like St. Andrews as well as Warner, but it's going to be a lot tougher today because this is the most physical team they have played this year.
Right. We haven't been able to get anything going offensively. So, yeah, we've been a second-half team most of the year. We've had some great comebacks, including an overtime, game-winning kick from Tanner Griffith. That's a tall task asked of them today, but, hey, we got about 30 minutes left of football. So
13:38 left in the third quarter, 1st and 10 from their own 33. Witt under center will hand it off to Butler. He tried to bounce outside, found no air or no room to run, no gain, and tackled by Brendan Holden.
This entire season, our running backs have been able to hit the hole with so much downhill running and a lot of force, and today they almost seem a little timid popping in there. That could be because Reinhardt has 9 guys in the box, and it's tough trying to pop in there when you got 3 linebackers on you as soon as you get to the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 9 from the 34. Play action as Witt moves up in the pocket. He slings it out right for a yard gain to Charles Black. Black caught it, but paid the price after the tackle was made by Zach Harris. Or rather, it was Chase Dawkins. After the tackle from Hawkins, it's going to be 3rd and 7. Looking for these little play action throws out to Charles Black. They've amounted to about 2.5 yards per play. Bluefield's looking for a new formation here. Trips left. Hughes is the slot receiver. Butler, the running back on the right side. Johnny Myers out on the far. Witt drops back, looks right, fires, and it's tipped up. Pass intended for Corbin Cash. And on the play, Jacoris Lamar threw in a hand to fist the ball, and now it'll be 4th and 7. Quick 3 and out. Rams offense still not finding any room to run as Otis Odom will be back out to receive. Drake Presley to punt for the 6th time so far in this game. And the ball spotted at the 36-yard line. Odom back at the Reinhardt 29 to receive. It's Reinhardt lining up with all the men trying to block this. It's a good snap to Presley, not a lot of pressure, and he sends a spiraling punt to Odom, who makes the catch and jukes past the first tackler. Now comes out near sideline, and he's wrestled down up at the 30 or 44-yard line by Philip Tyler, or Jonathan Green, rather. Still a good tackle, and Bluefield will have to send the defense back out again as Reinhardt leads 20-0 here in the third quarter with the ball spotted up at the 44-yard line. Xavier Carter's still the center after so many problems there in the first half as Dylan Wiggins lines up, hands it off to Quay Stocks. He looks for blockers, now moves up across the 50 and almost broke a tackle. Tackled up at the 46 or 44-yard line of Bluefield. It's good enough for a 1st and 10. Reinhardt moving the change now, and it looks like their run game starting to amount to a little bit more in the second half. Wiggins as the quarterback again in the gun. Lanier, his running back on his left with two receivers out right. Handoff straight up the middle to Lanier, and he is wrestled to the ground by DeMarcus Wimbush. Went low, and Lanier almost hurdled him, but instead he's brought down to the 39-yard line for a gain of 5.
And I mentioned earlier, this Bluefield defense has been done so well on east to west running so far. On the 3 plays that they've ran in the second half, they've gone nothing but north and south.
From the right hash, 2nd and 5, another handoff to Lanier. He goes left this time and trying to be patient. Wimbush again with the tackle, and only got up about 3 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 2.
Gain of 2, it is 3rd and 3.
3rd and 3 coming up for Reinhardt from the 36-yard line. Bluefield with Terrence Hall as well as Brandon Kale, 2 interior defensive linemen. On the edges for the Rams, it's Michael Everett and DeMarcus Wimbush. Another handoff to Kane. Sprints high right up the middle, and he's got the first down. And the big bruising 6'2 running back fires his way all the way up to the 28. Another first down for Reinhardt, who are now starting to pile on the momentum. Gain of 8. Kane already has 3 touchdowns. It's 8 on the year for the redshirt sophomore, or redshirt freshman, rather. 2 receivers on either side. Another handoff to Kane, shuffles past the first row of tacklers, and now Bluefield's linebacking core, led by Will Seltz, able to put the big man back on the ground. Terrence Hall also throwing his body in there. Short gain. It'll be 2nd down with about 10.5 minutes left here in this 3rd quarter. They have not gone to the air at all.
No, Bailey, and I don't anticipate them trying to go to the air in the second half, especially being up 20 in an offense that's designed to take up time and run the football. And with the success that they've had thus far on this drive, I don't see them going to the air either.
2nd and 6 from the 24. Kane in the gun, and he'll hand it off to Reggie Mack this time. Mack hit that hole with a ton of speed, and he juked around up across the 15 to the 14. It's a gain of 9 and good enough for a first down. Gain of 10, rather. Either way, it was 2nd and 6, 1st and 10. No huddle. Wiggins under center now with Kane right behind him. Bringing Mack in motion, hands it off to him on a jet sweep near side. He spun up, met a row of tacklers for Bluefield. No gain on the play.
The ball carrier, tackled by number 54, DeMarcus Wimbush, and number 23, Isaiah Fenner.
So Isaiah Fenner able to make the tackle after a gain of 3 from Reggie Mack. Up to the 11-yard line, 9.5 minutes left. Already 20-0 Reinhardt. Number 3 team in the country looking to go up by 4 scores against Bluefield. Last year, folks, they beat the Rams 64-3. Now a handoff to a new running back up the left side, and he'll get up across the 5. Actually tackled at the 5. First carry of the day for Tremaine Smith.
Number 51, Chris Green. Number 54, DeMarcus Wimbush.
Marcus Wimbush on the stop. Now 3rd and 1 coming up.
It is 3rd and 1 after a gain of 6 yards.
Now at the 6-yard line. Bluefield looking for a stop. 3rd and 1 from the 6-yard line. Smith as the running back. They'll hand it off right, looking for blocks. It's Ryan Andrews, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Reinhardt. Rather, it's Kwani Green. Kwani Green with the first touchdown of the game, not made by Trevay Kane. And now it's 26-0 Eagles, and maybe their best drive of the game.
As they're getting momentum and getting first downs, you see this offense really pick up the pace between plays, taking no more than 5 or 6 seconds.
Muddle huddle again, now commencing in the middle of the field. Kwani Green with a touchdown, and Nick Marquez ready to kick the PAT, and he does it with a ton of power. 27-0. Reinhardt up on Bluefield here in the 3rd quarter with 8:46 left to go. Tough one for the Rams here on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
back to receive for the Rams.
Now it is 27-0. Rams down by 4 scores against Reinhardt after the first touchdown of the day from Kwani Green on a 6-yard counter on the left side. 8:46 left to go. Rams looking for their first score. They have been shut out by a punishing Reinhardt Eagles defense. Now Nick Marquez ready to kick it away, and he sends it end over end once again to be received by Malik Brown at the 8-yard line. Now he goes out far side looking for blocks. He won't have any. All the Eagles are there to make sure he is stopped up at the 16-yard line, but he was pushed all the way back to the 10. Forward progress gives him just about an 8-yard return. And now Kaysen Witt, another attempt for Bluefield to get on the board. They have been shut out so far in this one. On the first drive of the second half with Bluefield only down 13, they did fumble there on that first drive on the second play, to be exact. And then Reinhardt was able to score thanks to Trevay McCain's third touchdown. And that last drive, probably the most impressive one we've seen from the Eagles so far today. 1st and 10 from the 16. Witt in the gun, will hand it off to Martin. Martin shuffles his way up to the 19 and falls down at the 20. On a gain of 4 yards, it's going to be 2nd and 6.
And Bailey, unfortunately, as every second ticks away, we're putting our offense into more of a situation where we're going to have to pass. And after giving up 6 sacks in that first half, that is obviously not a situation that Kaysen Witt or Dewey Lusk want to be in.
Kaysen Witt's been sacked nearly 10 times. 7 times to be exact, as he's in the gun. 2 receivers on his left. Another handoff to Martin, who will bruise his way on the right side. Nowhere to go. Another no yardage situation. Trevor Carlton able to make the tackle, the linebacker. Now 3rd and 7 coming up. Bluefield at the 20-yard line. They have to get it up to the 28. Now 3rd down. About 6 to go from the right hash. Kaysen Witt keeps Alex Martin in. Jeffrey Hughes lines up as the slot receiver. Johnny Myers out left with Black and Cash on the right. Drops back. Witt will go up the middle himself, and he can't get past the row of tacklers. Another stop. He got up to just about the 24-yard line. Gain of 5. It's going to be 4th and short. And you got to wonder, will Bluefield try to roll the dice early in the 3rd quarter? And they will not. Already sending on the punt team. And this is kind of odd because the punt team is not back out on the field right now. For Bluefield, it's 4th and 4, and now they're jogging out. They wanted to see what Reinhardt was going to line up in. 4th and 2. Over the 24-yard line. Otis Odom back to receive at the 42. A high snap, and Presley sends a duck spiraling punt way out of bounds. It'll bounce at the 50 and take a Bluefield roll. Got to see where they spot it. Down at the Reinhardt 40-yard line. Another 1st and 10 coming up for Reinhardt with 6:33 left to go in the 3rd quarter. They are up 27-0. A team with just about 13 people that touch the ball. That is what we have seen in the 3rd quarter so far. Bluefield's defense hung tough there in the first half, but now starting to see the fatigue pile up.
Right, and I think that's going to be the story of the second half, as we've mentioned it 100 times today, is there's 13 fresh legs versus maybe 2 interchangeable defensive lines for this Bluefield team. And we saw a little fatigue there in that first drive, and I think that's why they ran down the field so easily.
Mosley in motion as Wiggins has a play action, moves up in the pocket, slings it down the field, and it is tipped and intercepted by Isaiah Fenner. They were looking for Chambliss on a big home run pass, and Isaiah Fenner reels in another interception. That's his 4th of the season.
Well, another great play from Isaiah Fenner. We see it almost every week now. But I'm not sure what in the world Reinhardt was thinking trying to throw the ball there up 27 after you just ran it down the field with relative ease on that last drive. But, hey, this is a big break for Bluefield. Let's see if that offense can immediately go back out there and get something going.
Turnover forced by Isaiah Fenner, a very tall cornerback out of Virginia Beach. He's 6'2", but he seems a little bit taller than that, matching up with a little bit of a shorter receiver in Chambliss. And another time where they were going for the home run ball, and Fenner made him pay. So now 1st and 10 from their own 13. Witt will hand it off to Butler right up the middle, and Dawson Mitchell went low and tackled Butler for about a yard gain.
And that is the first time that Dylan Wiggins has been picked off this entire season. So not a team that takes a lot of risks. Take one there, and Isaiah Fenner makes them pay.
Only has 4 touchdowns as well, so the wide receivers probably get a little bit bored in this offense for Reinhardt, a team with 13 guys that touch the ball. Chambliss is undoubtedly athletic, but had no chance to catch it. 2nd and 10 from the 13. Witt fires near sideline, and it's dropped by Butler. Mitchell shoves the running back to the ground after the ball went off of the freshman's fingertips. It's going to be 3rd and 10. And on that play, if he actually caught it, would be about a 5-yard gain, but still looking for these short passes. Nothing has him mounted on the little out route to Rashad Butler.
And unfortunately, we're missing that one deep threat that we've had this season, and that's Antonio Strickland. Again, a couple fellas not making the trips, starting to hurt us a little bit.
3rd and 10 for Witt. A play action under pressure and flattened to the ground. Tevin McCoy with another sack. A career day for the defensive end, and Bluefield will send out the punt team again. So they get the interception. It's just been the story of the day. Moves the ball all the way back to the 10. Now 4th and long for Drake Presley, who's going to have to punt out of his own end zone. A stop made by the defense, and then just another 3 and out. It's just what's been happening today. Rams down 27-0. Clock starting to tick down now. 5 minutes left here in this 3rd period. Presley about 8 yards deep in his own end zone for the snap coming from Casto. Presley catches it and sends a spiraling punt. Otis Odom back to receive, and he is knocked down before he could try to receive it. And their flag's coming. And for Bluefield, there is no excuse for that. Mason Jefferson, the freshman from Charles City, Virginia, knocked Otis Odom down, and now I bet things are going to get chippy ensuing after this.
And that's just absolutely unnecessary, and I don't foresee him playing the rest of this game. That's uncalled for, and there's no place for that in the game.
Well, Odom was ready to receive it. Now, if he would have caught that, there was a chance that Jefferson could have maybe laid the wood on a good hit right there, because he was ready and no fair catch was called for, but that was just a lapse in judgment, and maybe 15 yards coming up in a game where Reinhardt already leads 15-0, and the defense is thinking, why did you do that?
And Bailey, like you said, down 27-0, this game could get chippy, and we just upset a Reinhardt offense that's done very well. We awoke this crowd that was kind of lulled to sleep after the last couple drives. He got a big hit, but it's gonna do a lot more harm than it will good.
Absolutely.
Do you think the referees might be discussing
the
fact he can stay in the game?
They might have to eject him there. I don't know if they have any jurisdiction to be able to do that, but now the head coach of Reinhardt, James Miller, out on the field making sure that his team stays relatively composed here. Already up 27-0. They said it was number 23. That was Mason Jefferson. That was number 15. That made that play. Isaiah Fenner still out there. I didn't do that. So it's 15 yards after the end of the penalty. Moves the ball all the way up to the 33 of Bluefield.
On the Bluefield 33-yard line.
I don't know why the referees said number 23. That was definitely a freshman move. Now 1st and 10 from the 33. Reinhardt all fired up. Jefferson, or rather Wiggins, will hand it off to Lanier. Logan Hinnett, rather, getting behind the line of scrimmage, able to make a great tackle. And now some words after the play said to Darius Flowers.
And Bailey, this is I don't think that this is going to end very well. I think there's going to be some more personal fouls. I think there's a lot of emotion. Again, we're playing for a share of the conference championship, and it's going to get rough.
Up to that point, everything had seemed all right. 2nd and 9 from the 32. Mosley in motion. Now flags coming before the play.
Flag on the play.
Rams are already down 27-0. Under 5 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. False start on the offense. Now it'll be 2nd and 14. Now a motivated Reinhardt team with 2nd and 15 coming up. Wiggins in the gun. Lanier right beside him and 2 receivers out left. Hand off to Lanier against the motion. He dances through the line of scrimmage and wrestles all the way up to the 30-yard line. Good gain, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 6. Under 4 minutes left with the clock ticking here in the 3rd quarter. Bluefield losing 27-0 to the number 3 team in NAIA. Under 4 minutes left. Lanier on the right side. Wiggins in the gun. He'll roll out right. He's going to take it on his own up across the 25. Hurdling at the 15. Down the sideline into the end zone. Touchdown, Reinhardt. 29-yard rush for Dylan Wiggins. And a guy who is already the 2nd leading rusher on the team. Now Reinhardt just getting out of reach. It is 33-0 on a quarterback keeper that Wiggins took all the way to the house. Lining up in the muddle huddle again, Dylan Hall, or Billy Hall rather.
Is a lead blocker this time. I wouldn't be surprised to see Reinhardt go for 2 right here, to be honest.
Well, now they line back up. Don't need to go for 2 when you're up 33-0. Nick Marquez ready to kick on the PAT after the muddle huddle commences. Kick is away and through the uprights. 34-0, Eagles up on Bluefield. This one's getting a little ugly here in Waleska, Georgia. Rams getting the ball back when we come back on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Rams ready to get the ball back once again. It is 34-0 after the 29-yard touchdown scored by Dylan Wiggins, the quarterback, going down the edge of the sideline into the end zone. Nick Marquez in to kick. Bluefield down by quite a lot as the kicker and the punter sends a spinning punt or spinning kick bouncing at the 5 and caught on a bounce by Jeffrey Hughes, dancing down the far sideline, and he is wrestled down to the ground all the way up to the 20. On the tackle made by Marcus Miller. Now 1st and 10 coming up for the Rams. The ball spotted at the 21-yard line. We saw things get chippy right there, Nick, on before that last drive from Reinhardt. Mason Jefferson flat notice Odom on a punt return where he didn't even get the ball. Jefferson just laid him out before he received it. And the cheap shot motivated Reinhardt. They drove right down the field to make it 34-0.
Absolutely.
And another loss for Bluefield as Witt had a low snap, handed off to Malik Brown. And the Rams brought back to the 14-yard line. Kareem Warren coming off of the edge, able to put the running back down. Loss of 5, 2nd and 15.
Sterling Sky's helmet came off, so we're going to have to throw yet another new lineman in there. So,
well, actually looks like James Jones for Bluefield, a new lineman, as Witt will try to look downfield, sacked again. And Kareem Warren wrestled him down to the turf, back at the 11-yard line. 3rd and long. 34-0, Rams down, clock ticking, 3 minutes left. And the Rams have to look all the way up to the 30 for a first down. It's going to be 3rd and 19. Another sack. Kason Witt has had no time. He spread out all of his receivers on the left side. Ball spotted on the right hash. Corbin Cash, the receiver on his right, drops back. Now moves up in the pocket, slings over the middle, and broken up. Johnny Myers, the intended receiver, and now he's favoring his right hand. It's going to be 4th and 19. Bluefield once again to punt. Otis Odom back to receive even after the cheap shot on the last one.
And, Billy, you got to think, even with all of our receivers spread out, almost every play that Bluefield runs out of the shotgun, their running back goes out on a route too. Maybe keep him in, give Case and Witt just one extra blocker right in front of him.
Well, now Odom getting a standing ovation. His family right here in front of our press box. Drake Presley back to punt, and he will send away a spiraling high punt, bouncing at the 45. Odom thought about receiving it. Now Jefferson will let it bounce and roll to the 41. Looks like some words exchanged by Jefferson and Odom again. And I'm not sure for Bluefield. You might want to keep your thoughts to yourself at this point because it is 34-0 going into the fourth quarter. Reinhardt has just flat out beaten them on both sides of the ball today. There's just no other way to put it, especially the offense here in the second half.
I couldn't agree with you more, Bailey. I was trying to think of a better point, and,
It's just, well, the defense not given many favorable situations here in the second half, but still, as Wiggins will hand it off to Trevay Kane. He has a hole, shuffles his way across the 50, and hurdles over Darius Flowers, finally tackled by Tyrese Henry at the 48, and now flags coming after the play. Tied up was Quay Stocks and Michael Everett for Bluefield. And you knew this could possibly happen after the hit from Mason Jefferson.
And I'm not sure.
First down either way.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. Michael Everett on sportsmanlike penalty, and as well as another one called on Quay Stocks. So the referee didn't know or didn't think to tell us that there were flags on both sides of the ball, so that was extremely misleading.
Dramatic pause also.
Dramatic pause. You should have said there are flags on both sides of the ball. And the white cap just made us think that there was one.
He's going to have to take control of this game right now. He's going to have to start throwing flags and make sure that this does not get out of hand. It's in his control. So
the result of the play is a 1st and 10. Reinhardt has it at the 47-yard line. Wiggins initially lined up in shotgun, now lines back up under center in the double wing. Now a man in motion. He'll hand it off left side on a sweep play over to Quani Green, rather. And Green has a first down up to the 34-yard line. Quani Green also has a touchdown in this game. 34-0 Reinhardt up under 2 minutes left on another first down play made by the Eagles, now deeper into Bluefield territory at the 34. On the left hash, Wiggins under center. Bluefield with 4 men in the box, a handoff right side to Quay Stocks, gets some blocks down the near sideline, 25, and wrestled out of bounds. On the tackle that time was Isaiah Fenner, who's got the only interception for Bluefield in this game. Another 1st and 10, though. Ball moves up to the 23-yard line. Gain of 11. Now looks like somebody for Bluefield could be injured.
Reinhardt's head coach is actually talking to the referee. I'm not sure what this conversation could be about. It's certainly not about the last hit that Isaiah Fenner hit. You and I both know him. He's the nicest guy. He's not going to try and do anything to deliberately hurt anybody. So I'm curious to see if it's a clock issue or what.
Logan Hinnett was the linebacker shaken up on the play. Now he got up on his own accord and he's able to walk off. Now it's 1st and 10, a minute 41 in what has been a topsy-turvy third quarter.
And, Bailey, I'm not sure what this Bluefield defense can do to slow down this Reinhardt offense. It seems every other play is a first down.
Especially in the third quarter. They have figured out their niche, which has been to run the ball so far this season. And the third quarter, it has worked out after they were kind of sluggish in the first half. Now Reggie Mack is a running back on the left of Wiggins, and on his right it will be Nick Harris. Now a handoff to Mack. He goes left side, dances up across the 15, still on his feet and down to the 13-yard line. Tackled on the play by Chris Green for Bluefield, a freshman linebacker. Another 1st and 10, gain of 10. Bringing in that staple of running backs as Wiggins once again will line up under center. Nick Harris, the running back, will hand it off to him. He hits the hole hard, trucks through Tyrese Henry up to the 8-yard line now, a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 on the right hash. They line up in that double wing, and they just have so many running backs to cycle in and out. The Rams not as deep on either side of the ball as Reinhardt. That is very evident.
Ryan Bailey, you can see as each D-line, as they cycle in and out, they're getting a little bit slower, jogging on and off. They got to be tired, especially being on the field almost this entire 3rd quarter.
2nd and 5 from the 7-yard line. Wiggins now with a man in motion. He'll hand it off left side, looking for Jace Jordan, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown Reinhardt. They now lead 40-0. Well, you thought there after the first half, Bluefield could have a chance in the second, but this has just now gotten kind of ugly. Scoring 27 points so far, make it 28 if the PAT is good. They will not go for 2 as the Muddle Huddle lines back up in the middle of the field. Billy Hall, the holder. Nick Marquez ready to kick. Low snap, kick is away, and Marquez makes it, or rather, he missed wide right. And it is 40-0. They have scored now 27 points in the 3rd quarter. Rams down by a lot against the number 3 team in NAIA with 40 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Nick Marquez ready to have another kickoff. His Eagles lead 40-0 after the touchdown. For that last drive. Rams back to receive again. Jeffrey Hughes and Malik Brown. 40 seconds left. This time it's just going to be a line drive kick on the ground that'll bounce back to Jeff Hughes at the 15. He'll receive it, and he is tackled at the 23-yard line. Reinhardt has been the more physical team today, and they have just proven to be the more talented squad, the more disciplined squad here. And you kind of knew that. We go back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the season, Nick, where Bluefield has 62 freshmen, 75 first-year players. And in that 5-game winning streak, they did not show their youth as much. But here today, they see the adversity against a very, very talented team, and they haven't really been able to match it.
And you throw in the fact that a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds are out here playing for a share of a conference title. That has to be nipping at them, too. And the
Kaysen Witt will hand it off to Malik Brown straight up the gut. He'll just shuffle up to the 26-yard line on a gain of 2.
And Reinhardt has exposed this youth in this Bluefield team, going back to 62 freshmen, 70 first-year players. And other than that, the rest of the season, the 5-game winning streak, we've played incredible. This first half, defensively, we've held this obvious now, high-powered Reinhardt offense to only 13 points. But the 3rd quarter, as it winds down here, was all Reinhardt.
Eagles scored 27 points there in the 3rd quarter. Buzzer sounds in the 4th quarter coming up here in Waleska, Georgia. Reinhardt leads Bluefield 40-0. Fourth quarter coming up here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Bluefield down 40-0. 2nd and 8 coming up from their own 26 as the ball spotted on the near hash. Win in the gun with Malik Brown, the running back. Now a flare looking for Corbin Cash. Caught it on the deflection. Up at the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 19. And that might have been the most exciting play for Bluefield today. They spot him back now at the 43. It was tipped up by the freshman cornerback Wade O'Neal, and Cash made a rare reception, maybe one of his first of the season.
And Corbin Cash needs to come in here and try and take advantage of the fact that Antonio Strickland was left 6 hours away in Bluefield.
Now a handoff to Malik Brown, spins past the first tackler, now has a stiff arm, runs out left, and he just went west to east that time and lost 3 yards back at the 39-yard line. And that is just the story of today for the Rams. Now it's going to be actually a loss of 4. 2nd and 14, where they have maybe one play that kind of pushes them in a progressive motion, but then they go backwards, whether it be a sack, a loss of yards on a handoff, just right there. Now 2nd and 14, trips left, as Witt will sling it out to Malik Brown. Almost stumbled when he caught it, and he's tackled head on by Rashad Payne, the defensive end, who saw that screen coming from a mile away. Gains nothing on the screen. It is now 3rd and 14 at the 39-yard line. Under 14 minutes left in what has been a nightmarish day for the Rams. Witt in the gun. Snap, looks left, under pressure on the ends, moves up right. He tucks the ball under and tackled up at the 45-yard line. A gain of 5. It's going to be 4th and 9 coming up.
And, Billy, you got to wonder, of course, these guys are college athletes and everybody wants to be competitive, but if you're Dewey Lusk and you've had Case and Witt get sacked up to 10 times, down 40 points, you got to think about throwing in a backup quarterback there.
Just one more game to go against Pikeville coming up, and Witt trying to get Bluefield at least in second place in the Appalachian Division, because it seems that Reinhardt today will clinch at least a share. Now, Bluefield still has a chance of having a share of the title if Reinhardt does lose next week. Presley with a high snap, and he barely gets the punt off, and it must have been tipped and received by Odom at the 40, dances down the near sideline, and he was just rolling the dice, hoping to just have an exclamation point against Bluefield. He is pushed out at the Reinhardt 48-yard line. That's a fearless punt returner.
I was thinking that in the first quarter from his first punt return, not throwing up the fair catch.
And at this point, you don't really have that much to lose.
No, not at all.
Down, you're up by 40.
You take a cheap shot, of course you're going to want to try.
Right, you're going to want to try it.
Throw a jab back, but a jab on the scoreboard rather than on the field.
Dylan Wiggins in as the quarterback again. McClellan Lanier, the running back on the right side. And now they shift all of the line on the right as a handoff goes to Reggie Mack. Powers through and tackled up to the 44-yard line of Bluefield. Gain of 7. Tracy Parker made the tackle. Now it's actually going to be 2nd and 2.
Second down, 2 yards to go.
Under 12 and a half minutes, Reinhardt showing they might want to score again, even up by 40. Bluefield getting shut out right now. Reggie Mack, the running back, in a wing stance. Lanier right behind him in a 3-point stance. Brings him in motion, hands it off to Lanier, chugging up the middle. He's got the first down up at the 39-yard line, moving the chains again with 12:04 left to go here in the first or couple of minutes of the fourth quarter.
Bailey, this is where this young group is going to have to learn how to play for pride. Down 40 with 12 minutes left. The realistic possibility of you winning the game is slim to none. So now you just play for your school and you play for the teammates that you've worked hard with this entire season.
Wiggins in the gun will hand it off to Lanier. Tries to bounce outside, and he does, towing down the 35 and bumps up to the 32. Tackled on the play by Jonathan Green for Bluefield.
Jonathan Green, number 28.
Now 2nd and 3 after a gain of 7.
Second down, 3 yards to go.
Now they're just trying to chunk out this clock. They've only aired it out once here in the second half, and Isaiah Fenner came down with an interception. New man in motion. They hand it off on the left side over to Jace Jordan. Got a stiff arm and good yardage. Pushed out of bounds at the 25. Moved the chains again after a gain of 7.
Bailey, our defense just looks beat up, banged up, and very, very tired.
You can't really blame them. They've been on the field the entire time in the second half. And Reinhardt has moved so fast on this rush attack. As now Trevay Kane is back in. Handoff left side to Jace Jordan. Stiff arm and works his way up to the 17. Flags coming after. Looks like the stiff arm, he must have hooked Jonathan Green down on the face mask. So this one might come back.
Bailey, I'm going to play devil's advocate, make this a little fun. I believe it's on Bluefield for a face mask.
Have to see what happens. Probably shouldn't call the flags before the play.
You're right.
See what it is. Whitecap ready. And you are right. Face mask on Tyrese Henry. Half the distance to the goal. They were already all the way up to the 18-yard line, it looked like. And it'll be another first down for Reinhardt. Up 40-0, 10:50. And the face mask was actually on Jonathan Green rather than Tyrese Henry. First and goal from the 9. Looking for another score for Reinhardt. The Eagles absolutely dominating Bluefield today. Kane in the gun. Hand off to Quay Stocks, going for the jet sweep on the right side. Shuffling his way close to the goal line and tackled at the 1. And a good little jet sweep to Quay Stocks. Another guy that has a decent amount of carries for Reinhardt. Now 2nd and goal from the 1. Wiggins under center. Kane behind him. Stocks in motion. Hand off to him, and he just jumps into the end zone. Another touchdown, Quay Stocks. Now it's 46-0. Reinhardt and Bluefield now scuffling after the play. Flags flying everywhere. And this is just adding insult to injury for the Rams. Rams now taking off of the field. Got to see where the flags are coming in. And Reinhardt, at this point, Nick, you think about Bluefield, they have everything to lose. The Eagles do.
100%.
And if these suspension, if they do something that could
have ramifications, and
yeah,
they go into next
the
week
playoffs.
trying to win the division outright without one of their players. So
right.
Reinhardt has no reason to fall down and try and have arguments and physical altercations with us.
Bluefield, it looks bad for the Rams.
It does.
They try to get in fights down 46-0. A team that already beat them by 61 last year. Reinhardt thought this was going to be a little bit closer. You know that Reinhardt is a tough team to beat. Bluefield had just showed their tenacity in those past 5 games, actually picked up a couple of ranked votes. Now they come down here, hostile environment, playing against the Eagles.
Have a great first half from our defense.
Great first
Only
half.
Down 13 points. I mean, there had to have been a lot of confidence coming down, but Reinhardt immediately took that away when we had a muff snap with Kaysen on the second play of the second half. Reinhardt immediately takes it down and scores. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't believe they've punted this second half.
They have not.
Okay.
They definitely have not.
They have not.
They have scored
punted,
on every drive. Except for the interception.
Right.
So now they're trying to sort out exactly who they're going to throw or hand this penalty to. It's 46-0 Quay Stocks with the 2-yard touchdown. James Miller's team, very talented. Maybe the most physical team Bluefield has faced. So unsportsmanlike on Jonathan Green, Quay Stocks, and they're all going to offset.
Yeah.
And as well as another unsportsmanlike called on a Reinhardt player, Scooter Williams. Lining up in the muddle huddle, Billy Hall as the quarterback, looking for the snap for the long snapper.
And Bailey, just for fun, one of the referees forgot to pick up their flag.
There's a flag lying down about 2 yards deep in the end zone. And Billy Hall telling the line to come back in. 10-11 left here in the fourth quarter, fresh off of a touchdown. It's 46-0. Nick Marquez looking for another PAT. Missed his last one. This time, though, goes right through the uprights. It's 47-0. Reinhardt dominating Bluefield. 10-11 left to go in the game. We're going to take a break here on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
For Reinhardt, number 5, Nick Marquez.
47-0. Reinhardt walloping Bluefield so far here. 10-11 left to go in the fourth quarter. It was 13-0 at half, and now 34 points later. It's been a very good day for the Eagles, proving why they're the number 3 team in the country. Bailey Engel and Nick Ratliff, we're happy to have you with us here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Maybe not the most favorable game. Rams have played close games throughout the entire year as Marquez boots a line drive kick that'll bounce into the hands of Jeffrey Hughes, who will rush near the middle. Stutter step at the 20, now moving his way up across the 30, tackled at the 31-yard line. Bluefield will start out with another drive here in their first in the fourth quarter. They have played close games against teams that are ranked. Southeastern, who jumped on Bluefield so well in the first quarter, Rams actually outscored them in the final 3 quarters of the game. But also playing against Georgetown, that was a tough game for Bluefield. They're probably a little bit more similar, I think, to Reinhardt, Nick, in the fact that they run the ball a lot, where Southeastern went to the air.
Right. It's more of a, I'm going to wear you down, and then in the second half, I'm going to take over, which is exactly what Reinhardt's done this afternoon. They've just ran the ball and ran the ball.
Speaking of running the ball, a handoff to Alex Martin. He bumps into the first row, and he is tackled. About a yard gain for the junior running back. Finally brought down by Seth Fallen. Under 10 minutes left here in this game. Alex Martin, nor his counterparts Malik Brown or Rashad Butler have found anywhere to go in this game.
No gain, 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 from the 31. Rams lining up in the I. Another handoff to Martin on the left side. He had no hole again. He'll gain just about 2 yards, and a flag coming down with a late hit. James Jones knocked down onto the ground, and the young man who hurt his ankle a couple of weeks ago against Point is on the ground. Still awaiting the flags to be called. Reinhardt, it's all stemming from when Mason Jefferson laid out Otis Odom before he could catch the punt return back in the third quarter. It's been a different game since then. Reinhardt has played more motivated, and that is going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct call on Reinhardt. 15 yards. Bluefield gets a first down.
Bailey, at this point with 9 minutes left, I'm just hoping that we can get through this game without any unnecessary and unfortunate injuries that are a result of extracurricular activity and just
right. You just got to get out of this game unscathed physically.
Absolutely.
And this Reinhardt team has proven why they're the number 3 team in the country, and you don't really want to give them a reason to try to beat you down even worse.
No, certainly not. Especially in an offense designed to beat you down.
Right. They have been able to give so many different players the ball. Bluefield has not even come close to scoring, and this has been their ugliest performance of the year. And you have the loss of Quante Hines. You have freshman offensive linemen in there. It's tough to block guys like Tevin McCoy with young men that don't have that many college reps. It'll be 1st and 10 for Bluefield at their own 49-yard line. The ball on the near hash. It's been a tough day for Kaysen Witt. Got to applaud how he has handled this, because he has not really shown any frustration out on the field, even though he has every right to be. 1st and 10. They're lining up in the I with Alex Martin, the tailback. Hand off to Martin this time. He'll try to plug his way up across into Reinhardt territory. It's up at the 48-yard line, and after the play, another flag out on the field. Looked like Jaquez Hart, the freshman defensive tackle, took off his helmet after the play. He's out on the sideline talking to James Miller, the head coach.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be ejected.
So Jaquez Hart ejected from the game. And I'm not 100% sure why you would be incredibly frustrated. Now he's kicking a chair on the sideline when you're up 47-0. And now he's got to go into the locker room. Meanwhile, 1st and 10 for Bluefield up at the 33-yard line.
I mean, that's
stupid. It's very dumb. Hand off to Martin left side, and he's tripped up. Another tackle for Kareem Warren. No gain for the junior running back.
The kick of the chair might have been one of the better kicks I've seen today, to be honest.
It's just, it's already been tough to watch. I don't know why he's frustrated. There's no reason to be frustrated if you're
47.
If you're a player for Reinhardt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Without harping on that anymore, 2nd and 11 at the 34-yard line. Another handoff to Martin. He is brought down for a loss. Unblocked. Kareem Warren flattens the running back. That knocks Bluefield back a few more yards.
Bailey, he was untouched.
On a running play of all things. Warren just beat him to the ball. It was just as soon as Witt gave the ball to Alex Martin, he had nowhere to go, and he was hit hard. Pushes Bluefield back to the 36-yard line. Now in the gun, 2 receivers bunched out right, Covington and Black. A low snap, play action. Witt moves up in the pocket and tackled for another sack. Contavious Rhodes, the linebacker, able to jump on the back of Kaysen Witt. Now it's 4th and 12. Bluefield keeping the offense out there. They have to go for it, trying to get on the board for the first time today. 7:30 and counting left here in the 4th quarter. Malik Brown in as the running back. One in the gun, 3 receivers bunched out left. Snap, downfield, works up in the pocket, flares down the far sideline, and it is incomplete. Past the dive of Jeffrey Hughes. The play had a ton of ambition, and Hughes wasn't able to reel it in on a slight overthrow from Kaysen Witt. 1st and 10, Reinhardt after the 4th down failed to be a conversion for the Rams. 7:14 left to go in the game, and a game that Bluefield just wants to get back to the 2 Virginias, that's for sure. Eagles back out on the field. Ball's spotted in the middle of this all-turf field here at White Stadium. Billy Hall in as the quarterback. Drops back and will hand it off straight up the gut to Otis. Odom is carry of the day. And the young man sprints up to the 41. It's a gain of 5. Second and 5 coming up. Otis family is right in front of us.
They have made it.
Absolutely. Now Hall back in the gun. Odom in motion, hand it off on a jet sweep going right to left, cuts back up towards the middle, and wrestled down on the play by Quentin Williams, senior. Up to the 45 now. They only have 1 more yard to go. Have to get it to their 46. Hall under center. Odom, the running back, will hand it off to him on a counter, sprinting up towards the middle. He's got the first down and more. Carlton Tucson able to make the tackle up at the Bluefield 46-yard line. Odom is so fast. I'm not 100% sure why he hasn't been the running back the whole game.
I'm not sure either. When you got 13 of them, it's hard to choose one, I assume. But I think this has turned into a pride thing for Odom, especially. He's probably asked for the ball. Still upset about that hit that happened last quarter.
Caleb Shadwick, the running back on the right, as a handoff goes to Reggie Mack. Shuffling through the Bluefield defense, still on his feet. And he got a gain of 8 after cutting it back up the middle, up to the 38-yard line.
46.
Michael Everett finally made the tackle for Bluefield.
38-yard line.
Now it's going to be 2nd and 2. Under 6 minutes left. Eagles looking like they might want to score again. Hall under center. Shadwick right behind him in a 3-point stance. A handoff to Odom, who cuts back up the middle. Room to run as he sprints across the 25. Tackled by Isaiah Fenner up at the 23-yard line. And this young guy, so small, so shifty, moving the ball down the field with ease. 1st and 10 at the 23. They keep Odom in as the wing back on the left side. Shadwick, the running back, right behind Billy Hall. Big receiver out on the left, Andre Sanderson. 5 minutes left, bringing Mack in motion. They'll hand it off to him, going right to left, juking move, stumbles across the 15, tackled by Bobby McBride at the 14-yard line. Another gain of about 9. It's going to be 2nd and 1. 47-0. Reinhardt looking to go up by 50 or more here. 5 minutes, clock still chunking down. Bluefield has just flat out gotten beaten down pretty badly here today.
Yes, in the second half.
It's 13-0 at half. Bluefield was only down by 2 scores. The defense was hanging tough, but that stamina just did not hold up here in the second half. Hall now bringing a man in motion, a handoff to Shadwick, who's tripped up behind the line of scrimmage by Bobby McBride.
Shadwick, the ball carrier, number 76, Bobby McBride.
And you see on that play right there, even though they didn't gain that many yards, Tracy Parker Jr., one of Bluefield's better defensive tackles, was pancaked on that play off of the block from Will Sizemore. And that is just how Bluefield has been able to get beaten on this run game. They have been more physical. They've been a deeper team. They've been just able to do whatever they want in the second half. Now Odom in motion, a handoff straight up the gut. This time to Tremaine Smith, goes out near sideline, works his way out to the 5, and it's going to be a first down. Tyrese Henry had him by the jersey and threw him out of bounds. Now a fresh set of running backs brought in with a fresh set of downs. It'll be 1st and goal up at the 4-yard line, already up 47-0.
See Reinhardt's coach getting in some guys that don't usually play.
Reggie Mack, the running back, will be the left wing back. Otis Odom lining up on the right. Or rather, just vice versa that. They switched at the last second. Reggie Shadwick, or Caleb Shadwick, rather, the running back behind him. Hand off to Odom on the jet sweep, the right side, dancing across the 4-yard line and up to the 3. Flags coming out during the play. We'll have to see what it is. Now under 4 minutes left here.
Bill, if you're this Bluefield team pending this call, you got to remember, hey, we just won 5 straight games. We came down to Georgia. We got our butts beat. That's all right. Going into next week's matchup.
Against Pikeville, the last game of the season.
Absolutely. You want to be able to finish the season strong.
There's a holding on the offense. That one called on the right tackle, Chase Haroff, freshman from Roswell, Georgia, actually on the lineup as a center. Now it's 1st and 20 back at the 20-yard line. Or 1st and about 17. They have to get the ball up to the 2. 2.5, 3-yard line. Still the clock running. They are taking their time. Billy Hall now in as the quarterback. Wiggins' day is done. Shadwick right behind him in the gun. 2 receivers positioned on either side. So handoff goes to the fullback straight up the middle, and he flies his way up to the 15-yard line. So now it's going to be 3rd and long with under 3 minutes left. Both teams with all of their timeouts. At this point, I'm not sure why you would take one.
I'm not either.
And the Rams, you just look on the opposing sideline, they just look defeated, as they really have been. Reinhardt has been the better team, and they have proven so just on both sides of the ball. The sacks, I mean, Tevin McCoy, wow. That's one of the better defensive ends we have seen this year.
Absolutely. It's one of the better games from a defensive end I've ever seen.
2nd and 13, another handoff to Shadwick, shuffling his way across the 5 and tackled at the 2-yard line. Close to a first down, or close to a first down, which would be at the 2. He's tackled at the 4. Kind of hard to have our vantage point here. We're at a pretty low stance. Press box not that far off of the field. Now 3rd and 2 at the 4.
We're going to let this play clock kind of wind down, take some more time off the clock. And if you're Bluefield, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds until this one is over and behind you. I'm sure that the coaching staff's going to look and see what they did that could have been a little better and then just wash it out.
Hand off to Shadwick, and he is close to the end zone and in. Touchdown. Caleb Shadwick, the freshman from West Blockton, Alabama, now gives the Eagles the 53-0 lead. And the Rams are just hoping to pack this one up and go home. Not a great showing for Bluefield today, especially in the second half. PAT lining up, a high snap, reels it down, and the kick goes into the trees, right through the uprights. 54-0. Reinhardt has now scored 41 points in the second half. So, tale of 2 halves after they were only up 13-0, but Bluefield hoping to put this one behind them when we come back here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. 1:20 left here in Waleska.
Reinhardt.
54-0. Rams being absolutely trounced by the number 3 team in the country. Reinhardt has proven why they could probably be a team to watch out for in the NAIA playoffs. And, Nick, we thought that Southeastern really was the best team that the Rams had faced this year, but it's got to be the Eagles. As Marquez sends a line drive kick bouncing at the 21, rolls back to Hughes at the 8. He'll cut out left, now looking for blockers, has room to run to the 30, still on his feet, breaking through tackles and up to the 42-yard line with the clock stopping at 1:10.
I agree with you on that. I thought when we were in Southeastern, I might have got caught up in the fire show and all that nice stuff down there. But
Right.
football-wise, Reinhardt is by far the best team that Bluefield has faced this season, both physically, offensively, defensively. Good.
So for the lack of saying cliches here, or just at the fear of it, they're just playing smash mouth football, running the ball. They don't pass at all.
No. That's just...
Rams line up in the gun. Another rush for Malik Brown. He meets a wall of tacklers, and they are almost looking for a strip and scoop and score right there. Brown actually never brought down. He only gains about a yard.
Going back to what you said, that smash mouth style of football, that's what they want to do. That's the guys that they've recruited. And in my opinion, it is my personal favorite style of football. But I'm one of the very few left.
2nd and 8 for Bluefield, lining up in the shotgun again. A snap and a handoff to Brown, who cut out left side, looking for blockers, and he'll get about a yard. With under 30 seconds left to go, the Rams likely to just line up and take this one off of the field. It is 54-0.
Okay,
3rd and 8 at the 47-yard line. Reinhardt on their senior day comes out and just takes it to Bluefield as both teams are lining up. Reinhardt has improved to 8-0 on the year. The winning streak for the Rams, a thing of the past. They are now 6-4 going into their final game against Pikeville next week. And I think that's just a tough one to swallow for Bluefield. So many sacks. The rushing yards piled up in the second half. The Rams just flat out got beat.
I agree, and you said it throughout the second half. This was a tale of two halves. Bluefield only gives up 13 points going into halftime, and I thought we were sitting pretty. But unfortunately, Reinhardt came out and asserted their dominance from the second play of the second half.
Well, 54-0. First time that the Rams have gotten shut out this year. And Reinhardt, such a talented team. Things got chippy there in the second half, but Casey Witt had nowhere to go. And you can't do anything when your quarterback has no time to drop back and actually sling the ball downfield.
I agree. We couldn't get anything clicking on offense, whether it was running the ball, and like you said, we had no time to drop back, giving up 10-plus sacks this afternoon. I think that that's just it's a tough game. We got beat. Reinhardt's a very good football team. They're ranked number 3 in the country for a reason, and I think that they'll be in the NAIA playoffs for sure.
Well, Reinhardt has now clinched at least a share of the Appalachian Division title. Bluefield still has a chance at that if Reinhardt is able to lose next weekend, but it's going to be tough for anyone to beat this team moving on.
I agree. Very physical and very good at what they do.
And for the Rams, going into this weekend, they actually receive votes to be ranked. Probably won't see that many of these this week, but got one more week. Play Pikeville, trying to make it the best season for Bluefield. They're 6-4. They have a chance to be 7-4 next week, and just forget about this one and move on.
Absolutely, and I said it there late in the fourth quarter. I think that now that this game's over, we'll talk about what they could have done, maybe watch a day of film, and then put it behind them. Look forward to next week and closing out Dewey Lusk's first season. We already know it's going to be a winning season, but can we make it a 7-4 season?
We're going to tie a bow on this one, folks. Reinhardt wins down here in Waleska big time, 54-0 over the Bluefield College Rams. So for my broadcast partner, Nick Ratliff, my name is Bailey Angle. Rams closing out their season next week against Pikeville. So until then, take it easy, Rams fans.